I'm gonna steal your sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, mom and dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drinks while I read and cry. I'll never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drinks when I read and cry. I'll never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
Yeah.
So if anybody was wondering, that's Justin's desktop there in the
Yeah,
intro.
I don't know
Hey.
what the fuck happened.
Welcome,
right
everybody, to Kyle Mogul Won't Shut Up, Season 3, Episode 7. We've been off for... We had 2 weeks
14
off.
weeks.
Yeah, 14 years. It does feel like whenever we take our 2-week break, it's been 3 weeks to the day, but we took 2 Tuesdays off. It always feels like we've been off for a month, and then I forget about having that month off that we take in between seasons, and that's got to feel so much longer. But this feels like we haven't done a show in a
long time.
decade. It
Yeah.
feels very, very long.
I mean, I think the other thing is I just sort of kept to myself. I had a bunch of things to take care of.
Yeah, I
Wasn't
really did
feeling
not
good.
see you much at all in the last 2.5 weeks or so.
Yeah, just kind of did my own thing.
Yeah.
Recovered from the previous weeks.
Understood. Now, I do want to point out in the opening there, we shot that over at Yetter Park in East Stroudsburg. It's a wonderful disc golf course that if you're into disc golf or anything along those lines and you're in the Poconos, definitely check that out. But what I want to point out more is we did pretty much, 2 false starts and then 1 take of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the take that we wound up, doing and using, I missed the putt from 8 feet away. And then all of those throws are just god-awful all over the place, and you're just following me to wherever the fuck my disc lands.
I didn't even know where they landed.
Yeah.
I was just like walking and
You're
then
just
saw
following,
you go over
following
to-
where I was going. And then the last shot, I legitimately lost where it went for a minute or two. And
Which
I was
was
like,
right to your left.
yeah, it was right over there. I just couldn't see it. It was, it was blue on top of the green grass.
Yeah.
How are you going to fucking see that?
Yeah.
And then I just took okay, fuck it, I'll just shoot it from here. And in a regular Kyle disc golf fashion, I bounced it off a tree immediately. So that's I like
Was that the reaction, or were you doing that anyway?
No, that's usually just how I play disc golf. Trees are your it's good for you. That's what we used to say at Yetter. It's good for you.
It's good for you.
Get your foot in there. Fucking get your foot in there. Throw that fucking disc. Throw that fucking disc.
Just fucking do it.
Throw that fucking disc.
Do it.
Yeah. That's the next brunch song.
Throw that fucking disc.
Yeah, we're getting Vanilla Ice. Is
All right. I like it. I like it.
What's that? Kid?
Rock.
Sure.
Sure. Kid Rock and Vanilla Ice are going to be joining us on Throw That Fucking Disc.
Episode 3000.
Episode 3000. If we don't pull through on that, you're allowed
Wouldn't
to find
episode
us and
3000
castrate
we
one
have
of
to
us.
get Andre 3000.
Okay, never mind. We're doing that
You could just
instead.
go to any airport.
We're doing that. Does he just hang out in airports?
Oh no, he's been like spotted around the country.
Yeah.
What's he playing? Flute or something?
Playing flute in
Just
airports.
like
In airports.
in airports.
All right.
Damn.
And
Well,
like
we
just
can
walking
definitely do
around
that.
parks,
Yeah.
but all over the country.
Yeah.
In the last year, people have
How
spotted.
bored are you that you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go hang out at these airports?
He's not bored. He's having a.
No, I
he's
know.
probably
Oh, he's
having
having
the
a
best
great
time.
time.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
He's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
He is definitely weird. Speaking of weird, I am joined as always by Mr. Justin Olimpedo.
Oh, hey.
He's up there. That's him up there. You know, he's looking down on us.
What's up, brother?
He's looking
heaven.
down from heaven
He's dead.
because Justin passed away.
Hey. Oh, well, news to me.
News to you. Sorry. This is a Beetlejuice
I've been
situation over
fucking
here.
trapped in this stupid painting.
Yeah, this
forever.
painting's just been there for forever,
It's
and
like Super Mario 64.
yeah.
I want to jump right into that painting.
it's
and
definitely like
beat your
that.
ass.
Oh, all right.
Jump in the air, grab my legs, and ass stomp right on them.
Well, then I guess speaking of ass stomp, we are also joined by Mr. Zachary. 4-stage pop open Stormin. That was a lot. That was a lot of opening there.
That's 4 layers, player.
4 layers players. All right.
Yeah.
So again, this is season 3, episode 7, live here on YouTube.
Yes.
If you're listening in the future, you fucked up and you should have been live on YouTube. And if you're listening on YouTube in the future, you fucked up. Come live. You can chat with us. All right. If you're listening on iTunes,
from the past,
if you're listening from the past, get a hold of us. Tell us how
Yeah.
the fuck you're doing that. We want to figure that shit out.
We
Right,
know some
goddamn
things.
now.
We might be able to make some money. We know a few things.
Yeah. Who wins the 2012? Oh God, if they're from the past, we'd have to communicate to them who won the 2019. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay.
you know.
I was thinking the other way around. I'm like, they can't help us win shit from the past.
so we can help them win.
That's
shit.
true.
Yeah.
That's
And then
true.
they will just.
So,
then we just
so
get
if we've
to
got a Jim
end up
Caviezel,
with
Dennis
motive-
Quaid frequency
motive-
situation going on, and we're talking to you through a ham radio back to 1969, let us know. Invest in Yahoo, and then don't invest in Google. That movie did not age well. The whole thing is like, he invested in Yahoo, he made all this money. The follow-up to that is him losing all of his fucking money.
Actually, if you really want to get rich,
Yeah.
there's a certain time to buy as much fucking Bitcoin as you possibly can.
It's true.
And then there's a certain day to sell all of it.
True.
Buy Bitcoin.
Did we already
when
pass
Bitcoin
that day?
first-
Yes, we did.
We passed it, so
that.
it's going down now. It's on its way down. I don't pay
There's
attention.
a
Fluctuates,
whole
but it's-
shitload of Bitcoin money, like billions of dollars in Bitcoin that nobody can access because the person that had access to it died, and he was the only one that could get
Ooh.
to the.
So there was no like fail safe. There was no backup plan for it.
No,
so
they're
it's
trying
just,
to figure it out, but they cannot.
can't they just make up more? Because isn't it
It's
made
fake.
up? I don't know how this works.
Sort of like
All
regular
money is
money.
fake.
Yeah. Well, I
'Cause,
know.
I mean,
I'm saying,
our
can't you just
dollar-
print more.
Going back to I was talking to Pat, and we were talking about the dollar, you
Yeah.
know, and he's like, yeah, it's based on gold. I'm like, yeah, but there is no more gold. And he's
There's
like,
no
Yeah,
gold
not since, like,
standard.
the
the
what?
70s.
and I was like, he's like, what
Nixon
happens
took
if you
us off
have
the gold
gold?
standard,
I'm like,
yeah.
well, then you're rich. I mean, you're not rich, but you have whatever the value of that gold is.
You used to be able to walk into a bank, or not maybe necessarily a bank, but
Well,
just
just
go,
drop
here's
money
$100. I would like my gold, please.
Yes.
And exchange it. So whoever did that in the early 70s and buried it all over the
Smart,
place, smart people. They probably
have,
died without it.
I have a silver certificate $1 bill.
I had a couple of those
It's
actually.
only worth $1, but
A guy, well, some of them from like the 30s are worth like a lot of money. If you have like a 30s or 50s like printed one, I had a guy
would say
when
it's the 60s.
when I worked in, I think it was at Garfield's at the time, and a guy tipped one of the waitresses $5 in all the silver certificate dollar bills. And she was like, oh, that guy's a cheap piece of shit. And she folded all of them and put them in her server book. And I was like, you go to hell. You don't realize what you folded perfectly uncirculated fucking 60-year-old currency. Go away. Go away.
I mean, if you can find like old $1,000 bills, they're worth way more.
They had Grover Cleveland
They're
on
not.
them.
Yeah, I mean, they're not legal tender anymore.
Yeah.
but they're
you
worth
can't walk
more
in
than
anywhere.
$1,000.
Oh, I bet.
only if they're graded, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
just like baseball cards and shit. It has
Now,
to
could
be
you take
graded.
$1,000 bill that's not graded, that's kind of like, degraded, if anything, and bring it to a bank and cash it in anymore?
I don't know how.
Or is
that
it like
works.
when casinos?
You might have to go to like the
because when casinos
treasury.
stopped using coins, they sent out basically a hey, if you got these coins from our like Tropicana coin, you can't use it anymore after this date. So come in and cash it in. After that, you basically have a piece of memorabilia from the past. So I wonder if you can still cash in $1,000 bill for.
I think you would have to go to the
currency.
treasury or something, but they're gonna ask you where the fuck you got it.
I mean,
from.
I know for sure the Confederacy money is not honored anymore, and I'm pretty sure
for sure.
they don't honor that. But you
Yeah.
probably get way more for.
But that's a collector's thing.
Oh,
It's,
that's
it's the same thing. It's the same thing
No,
with the
well, you can't
$1,000
collect
bills.
that anymore. That is not PC
That's
to collect
insulting.
any of that shit.
If you have any of that, it's
sorry.
insulting to people. The past is the past because it needs to stay there. Don't hold on to it. Don't hold on to it. Speaking of the past being the past and people wanting to hold on to it, I had a conversation with one of the regulars over at the Cinder last night. This guy Jeff, and we were talking about the Titanic. I forgot how we got on the subject.
We were talking about this too.
But yeah, Justin and I, we discussed it a little bit, and he said something about the pool on the Titanic. And I went, was there a pool on the Titanic? Like at that point, did cruise lines have pools?
Right.
Like it was very early on in the cruise, world. So did they have a full pool? And he looks it up, and it in fact did have a pool. Oh. It had a warm saltwater pool, like a Norwegian. Yeah, it's like a very modern feeling thing, but they had that. It's
rich
huge
people
now.
are getting them for the regular pools.
Definitely.
We did a job at a guy's house.
Bitch is a sucking.
He's got one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
They suck cleaning up though.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Actually, no. From what this guy said, he says it's less maintenance. His modern saltwater pool is less maintenance than
a chlorinated pool.
All
right.
Now, my aunt was talking about how much of a nightmare it is because it eats away everything inside your house.
Well, I mean, this guy just got a brand. Oh, well, maybe.
Yeah, she has
but
it
he was
in
talking
her
about
house.
No, it's not in her house. But when you get out of that pool, you are tracking salt water through everything.
There's just white spots everywhere.
Based on this is a brand new pool. He just got it last year. He said based on just the pool, he didn't talk about his
maintenance and all of that.
The maintenance on the pool and the filter and all that shit is far less than a chlorinated.
Oh yeah. I mean, the upkeep on the actual pool is great, but what you don't take into consideration is what salt water does to everything else around you.
It's true.
Huh.
It's
And
true.
being at your house, you're just gonna jump in the pool, get out, dry off real quick, but you're not dry.
So you
most
need to
of the
have
time.
the saltwater pool and then a
shower.
freshwater shower.
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
You need to do like you would at the beach.
Exactly.
Spray yourself down, take a shower, and then anytime I get wet, I like to get a little bit more wet right afterwards.
I'd
So that
like
makes
to have an
sense.
outdoor shower so the neighbors can watch me be naked.
I think
you
that's
could
what
just run a
they've been
hose.
wanting as well.
You just literally
I can
run a
just
hose.
hold the hose for you.
Spray me down, Kyle.
Spray me down,
It's
Kyle.
Wednesday. It's time for my weekly shower.
I like that you do your weekly shower the day after this, so you are the stinkiest and dirtiest you can be the day of the podcast.
You never
That's
know
good.
what's gonna happen here, dude.
But yeah, on the Titanic, they had a pool, but the funny thing about that is, according to historians, the pool room was the last room to flood. So, and technically, since it is
Does that
sunk
mean it's
and
not a good pool?
I think it was an extra good pool. But the fact that it sunk with the Titanic, because it's a part of the Titanic and is at the bottom of the ocean, the Titanic still technically has one amenity that is functioning.
Yeah.
Their saltwater pool.
The whole ocean
They still
is
do.
a pool.
And then we got into the topic today. I was talking to my roommate about this as well, and we started talking about the Titanic 2 that they're making.
Yes.
In, I think it's in China. That's going to run the exact same route. Like, way to tempt fucking
Why?
fate. They are building an almost... It's a 2-scale replica as accurate as they could of the original.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that means it's as accurate as they can make it. Shitty steel, not enough fucking lifeboats on there at all whatsoever. And they need a bunch of poor people to buy all this shit on the bottom level, and you're not allowed up top.
Nope.
You're not allowed up top if you're a poor
discussed
person.
this. You're going to be shoveling the coal.
You're going to be shoveling the coal.
Because there's no more slaves.
There's no more
It's
slaves.
not
I mean, they
like
weren't slaves then. They were just hardworking Irishmen.
No, you're right. You're right.
It was about 105 years ago or so.
You're right.
So,
but either way, the
they
poor
didn't have
people are
slaves.
shoveling fucking.
The poor people are shoveling. I mean, if you could get a free ticket in exchange for shoveling some coal for like 6 hours, I'd take it.
What
As
if
long as the
you're shoveling-
shifts
I
are
don't think
short.
it's powered by coal anymore.
Well, it's a replica. I'm hoping it's a
making it-
coal-powered, and they
I
don't
mean,
have.
it is China. They don't give a fuck.
They don't
over
have
there.
fucking radar.
It's gonna be solar powered.
No, they didn't have that 100-something years ago. No, it's a replica of the Titanic, exactly as is, going the exact same way. They don't need radar. They don't need to know where
Sure.
icebergs
They've done
or
it
anything
before,
like
right?
that are. Yeah, they've done it before. It worked out well the first time. But yeah, so I think that's weird, and it made me start thinking. And Justin and I, as we were talking about it earlier, Zach, we asked ourselves this question: when the Titanic 2 goes live and they do the Belfast, I think it's Belfast to Nova Scotia, then to New York was the original route, and then back from New York across to Belfast. Would you take a trip on the Titanic 2?
Fuck no.
You wouldn't?
I'm terrified of being on a cruise ship, and
Okay.
next year I'm going on my first cruise
All right.
on like the biggest, most baddest, most like the super duper cruise.
All
Like,
right.
I'm going on probably the greatest
The granddaddy of
Royal
all ships.
Caribbean or whatever, like
Okay.
Caribbean cruise, like with my family. and
Hell yeah.
everything.
Where are you guys going to? Are you going into the
terrified.
Caribbean? You're going into the Caribbean?
Yeah, it goes from Jersey to Bahamas.
That's a step up real quick.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
Real quick
I
step
little
up.
don't
bit,
like. I
little
love boats. I grew up
Tom's River to
boating,
St. Tom's. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good.
But that just seems to me like a.
The visit of the time.
Oh my God.
I'm terrified of that. So there's no way in hell I'd get on the Titanic.
Oh, I would go to Belfast. I would get on the ship. I would dress only in 1910s garb. I would only wear that.
Ooh.
I would only speak in. I would do a whole role playing thing for the entire week, and I would refuse to be allowed on the top
it
deck.
was built in Ireland?
I'm poor. I'm poor.
In
It was
China.
built. Yeah, it was built. Well, this one is being built in China.
But the
and then they're
original one,
going.
I thought the original was built in New York.
No. It was built in Ireland. It was
Well,
Belfast.
no wonder
made.
it fucking sank.
Yeah, they
Built
were all
by the-
drunk. They didn't know what they were
Oh, fucking
doing.
Irish.
All
The
my
real-
family members don't know
The
shit.
real question here is, can you smoke on this
If it's a replica, I feel like you got to be able to do
You
everything
can
the way
smoke on the modern cruise ships.
inside and everything?
Not
certain
inside the
aspects,
rooms,
maybe.
but there's like
Yeah.
certain
I'm
spots.
just
you
saying,
can-
spots,
like,
yeah.
if
Certain
this is a
smoking
replica
bars.
and you're doing the whole thing,
Hey, the ocean is nature's ashtray because it leads to the beach, which is also
If it's
nature's
a replica,
ashtray.
that means everyone's gonna have fucking crabs on the boat.
That's
Hey.
true. That's
Fuck
true. A lot
And the
of
clap.
syphilis, a lot of just lice in general.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be fun. But also, what would be fun, I think, is drinking some beer.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna try out a new beer today, Justin.
all right. Are we?
Yeah.
All right, good.
I didn't know I had to wait. I already drank a whole one.
All
of
right,
these.
you already drank a whole one. You're already down. All right,
Goddamn,
you didn't
dude.
have to wait. I mean, that's your whole thing. You don't wait for us. All right, so this is the UFO.
I wasn't sure what was the important one here. You know?
Yeah, they're all important. They're alcohol. It's a UFO
This smells
Georgia
good.
peach, refreshing Hefeweizen with right off the. Is that what it's? Right off
Smells
the
like
peach,
peach
tree
yogurt
flavor.
tastes.
It smells like.
The
Yeah,
way
it does.
peach
It
yogurt
smells like
tastes.
yogurt.
Yes.
You're right. You're right. It
But
does
it
smell like
doesn't
peach
taste
yogurt.
like yogurt. Thankfully,
How many peaches do you think go into one of these cans?
0.
Millions?
Fucking fake peach flavor.
I don't know.
It smells way better
Right
than
off the
it tastes,
peach
but
tree
it's,
flavor.
And that's the
not
name
bad.
of the flavor, right off the peach tree flavor.
That's the whole name.
Yeah,
That's a smart way
I
of doing
doubt this is made with real peaches.
This, I will say, this just tastes kind of like a fancy Natter Day. That's basically what this
Yeah,
tastes
yeah.
like.
But it's a Hefeweizen.
I think that I have Hefeweizen, so you got a little bit more substance there. The peach flavor definitely resonates a little bit. I feel like I was drinking a Franziskaner while eating a peach ring. It's kind of what I'm getting
See,
here.
I disagree. I smell the peach more than I taste it.
Yeah. Yes.
If
The
you
after-
didn't-
it's more the
If you
aftertaste.
didn't tell me that this was peach, if it was just a blank can, I don't know if just by taste if I could discern that it was peach. I would know it was some sort of fruit.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting the max peach.
Well, did we
I
figure out what
just,
the ABV was on this at all?
I'm
assuming it's 4.5 or 5.
I think it was 4.8.
4.8.
I just
Yes, you're right, 4.8.
blocked my nose from smelling as I took a
All right.
sip, and then as I drank it, tried to get a taste of flavor, Like, I opened my nose back up after I swallowed the beer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting more of the aftertaste on it being peach.
Yeah.
But a very subtle...
Yeah.
Maybe
it
more like I
smells
ate
more,
a peach ring an hour ago.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Very, very,
It's
very
like that-
subtle.
Peach ring on my. It's like I put a peach ring on my finger and then I finger in my butt.
Ah.
Oh.
It's
Alright,
like
well,
I put a peach ring as a cock ring, and then I sucked my nuts.
Speaking of cock rings,
Yeah, we haven't
everyone's
talked about
copping
them a
our
lot.
shit.
What?
Joe Rogan was talking about cock rings. the
You know
other
what,
day.
dude?
That is our thing. It's our thing. We've established that we are the Cock Ring Podcast.
Fuck.
We are the Cock Ring Podcast. Go to hell, Joe
He didn't
Rogan.
know much about cock rings, so I think I should go on Joe Rogan just to talk about cock rings.
Well, maybe you could give him a little demonstration as well on how they work. I think he would appreciate that thoroughly.
Okay.
I think he would. And another thing that I think Zach will appreciate thoroughly is I've only written 3 jokes this week.
Yeah.
Only 3. But you know what they say? Quantity over quality. Sorry, quality over quantity. I don't know. They're both kind of not here. So, it's time for jokes.
Jokes and anecdotes. Jokes and anecdotes. Jokes and anecdotes. I'm gonna tell some jokes to you.
Yeah, you know, comedy is the rule of 3s, you know, the rule of 3. So I figured I'm just going to write 3. I'm going to write 3 jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring them in, and we're going to ease into episode 7. Ease in.
Ease right back. I mean, we do have some important shit going on
In the world.
musically.
Oh, musically for tonight.
For
Oh,
this
yes.
evening
And the
and,
next 6
yes.
episodes, this episode and the next
So
5
easing
following.
into things.
Oh, easing into things. All right. So the jokes for the week. Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee got some press over the weekend for slamming President Trump on Twitter after the president tweeted how great the economy was doing. It's odd that Tommy Lee got so much publicity for publicly slamming someone, and it had nothing to do with his giant cock.
You ever see it?
Oh, yeah.
Big.
Dude, that's one of the first pornos I actually ever watched in my life.
The Pamela Anderson
one. That and the Bret Michaels in a tent, creepy, weird one. It's
I
like,
did not watch
oh my God.
Man.
Well, I just remember having Kazaa or Morpheus or Bearshare, whatever one at the time, and I typed in Pamela Anderson because she was, you know, I was Borat as a child, and she was the hottest thing in the world. Looked that up, downloaded for 3.5 days under a fake name. And then I had a 3.5-minute video of Bret Michaels pounding the fuck out of her, and then an 18-minute video
Wait,
or
Bret
whatever.
Michaels fucked Pam too?
Oh yeah. She was all over that 80s hog. She loved
That's
the
why.
80s
Did
hog.
you ever watch the roast of her? They're just like talking about basically
don't
everybody in the
know.
room.
They destroy her.
Yeah.
They
I'd
destroy
still
her.
fuck her.
probably.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever she's got, she's living through, so I could potentially live through as well. So,
Whoa,
I-
wow.
She does have
What
I
is
mean,
she-
she's
what
got
does she
money.
have?
She's got money.
Hepatitis.
At one point, they said she had Hep C, but that was
Oh,
from
I don't
Tommy.
want that. I
Nah,
don't
whatever.
want that.
You don't want Tommy Lee's Hep C? Tommy Lee's Hep C, the new single
maybe
from
then I
Drunk.
could-
No,
Sell it.
it is actually the new flavor from High C.
Tommy Lee's Hep C, High C. Yeah, I like it.
It tastes
In a pouch.
It tastes like
In a pouch.
penicillin.
Yeah. Speaking of bad ideas, Sony is crowdfunding a new wearable air conditioner called the Rion Pocket.
Pat needs it.
Okay.
The device,
Yeah, he
oh
does.
God, he does. All right, the device would fit between the shoulder blades of a specially designed shirt. It would run for up to 2 hours on battery power, and it would be able to lower your body temperature upwards of 23 degrees, all
freeze?
for the low price of cancer. There's no way that's good for you.
Dude,
Let
no,
me
it's
put
definitely
this
not good for
energy,
Have you ever
fucking
used-
spending pack on my back, right where my spine is, one of the most important parts of my body. That's not gonna
you. I mean,
go wrong in any way,
23
right?
degrees is going to fuck you up.
That is.
That's going
You're
to
gonna have
fuck your
pneumonia
body
all
up.
the time. Now,
Have you ever used the ones that have the heaters in them? Like,
no, but I played with a toy fan at Walmart today.
Yes, you did.
I
Yes, you
did.
did.
There was a candy thing. That was a candy dispenser, but it had a fan attached to
Oh,
it,
yeah.
and all the blades were foam. So I was just like sitting there,
It was
like,
a piece of shit.
and then it didn't work unless your nose was getting hit by the fucking fan blades.
I remember when remember the spray fans?
Yeah,
Yes.
When they first came out.
we were
At least
issued them
those
in
work.
school.
What was
Yeah.
I was nine or 10, and my family had taken a trip to Disney.
Okay.
It was the first time I was on a plane. it was like the big everyone. I guess not everyone, but a lot of people take that first big vacation to Disney World.
Oh,
you know
hell
what
yeah.
I mean?
That's probably the first 2-hour plane ride down to Florida.
Being in the Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
I mean, and this is the summer. It's hot as fuck because we're in fucking Orlando.
Yeah.
And I remember people had the battery-operated fans with the sprayer on it.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I saw that shit. I was like,
damn.
like, Mama, we live in the future, Mama.
I was always
Look at that
confused
shit.
as to how that was safe to put a water reservoir right next to a
'cause
battery
it's just a
pack.
battery pack,
Yeah,
and then,
I just figured
You
at
can
some
put a
point.
battery in your mouth.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
Should you though?
No.
All right. So
But
then.
it doesn't stop me.
All right. Well, hey. Speaking of not stopping, recent reports have said that Siri may record up to 30 seconds of your personal conversation every time your iPhone thinks it hears the word "Hey Siri," which that sentence alone, every time your iPhone thinks it hears the words "Hey Siri." A quick fix proposed was changing the name of Siri to a less commonly used set of sounds. So get ready for the iPhone 11's new assistant, "I'm proud of you, son."
Now, do you use Siri?
I don't but
use
while I was
Siri.
reading that
Is
joke
it disabled? Because mine is disabled.
mine's not disabled.
I've never
can't-
disabled it. But
I disabled mine.
I never
don't like
use it, but while I was reading that joke to Justin,
Yeah, it popped
and
up.
currently, right now, it is asking me what it can do for me on my
See,
phone.
mine-
So you need to disable it. 'Cause
I
then
need
it,
to.
Then it
I'm
doesn't
gonna do a
listen.
test. Hey Siri.
Did
No,
my phone go off?
doesn't. My phone.
Hey
does not.
Siri. Yeah, what can I help you with? Immediately.
Hey Siri.
Disable yourself.
Oh.
Delete yourself, bitch.
Maybe I
do it.
do have mine disabled then.
I gotta do that.
I always have mine disabled because it sucks. It fucking doesn't do shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't want it listening to me. And Apple is the one company that has sort of committed to personal security.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, like you can say whatever you want about, Apple,
they wouldn't help
Android.
that.
Well, there was that
Yeah.
whole thing of a while back where there was a guy who had a cell phone, and I forget what the crime that he had committed was, but they were trying to subpoena Apple to give
And they
them
wouldn't do
the
it.
back door
Yeah, they would
into the
not
phone,
do
and they
it. Yes,
wouldn't.
no.
So props to them on
Apple,
that.
Apple has done a lot for security on the phone. That Google is definitely like.
Well, they used to
Google's
say
definitely not.
They used to say
I'm
"Don't
almost-
be evil," and that was one of their slogans for Google. And
You don't be evil, so they can be.
so they can be
I'm
evil, but they
almost
dropped that
positive
either way.
that it's half owned by the government at this point.
Oh, I'm sure. Google.
Yeah.
It's GovGool.
Hey,
and the
we
Alexa
only
is
hire
terrible too.
the highest and most expensive.
Well, I heard with
You've heard that the
Alexa-
Alexa, there's actually people on the other end
Oh yeah, that
listening
they
to
have
the
people
requests.
listening. Yeah.
And
So,
you
like-
have to manually go in and
See, it's
delete your
funny.
recordings, like yourself, or
It's
request
funny.
for it to
My
be
buddy
deleted.
Greg has one in his whole house, and he loves it. He just sits there and fucks
Like,
with
did
them the
nobody
whole
learn
time.
anything from Space Odyssey? Don't put HAL
Well,
anywhere.
he knows that they like even when he first bought it, he's like, yeah, they're gonna be listening in before like when he got from the day one.
Yeah.
But he just likes to walk in and be like, hey Alexi, lights blue, 50%
Jesus.
in TV
He must
room.
be a very honest person and not care that everything
He does
is.
not
I guess
give
it
a
doesn't matter
fuck,
if you
dude.
got nothing to hide.
Yeah. I got stuff to hide. They're saying
so
like
much to hide.
Your sexting and all that's going to be recording,
man.
and if you have a sexy conversation, or if you have an illegal conversation, or if you do anything
Or
that
Steve
can
Warner
be
comes
used.
over and you don't want people to get the transcripts
That's
of what
true.
you said
That's
to
true.
each
You
other.
don't want the transcripts of
But
that.
I mean, all the people that
then
invested
his
in the
daughter
smart
will read it one day.
TVs. All
Yeah.
the people that invested in the smart TVs and the FBI was watching from
Yeah.
a camera from the inside
Yeah.
of.
Well,
Like,
I
that's-
really
that's
hope
some
with that
crazy
that,
shit.
that my laptop or my former smart TV that I had, I hope somebody was watching because they got a really disgusting
that's-
show. Because I'm just
Oh,
saying I
yeah.
don't respect the angle I present myself
Yeah.
to the TV or to the computer
Sure.
when I'm masturbating. So they're getting a full on
Watch porno on your
display.
TV?
That's
I mean, when I had a smart TV, there was a smart TV app. There was an app for porn
Yeah.
that was literally just a random generator, which was bad sometimes. You know, sometimes you get shit you don't want to see, animal husbandry and whatnot.
My favorite.
Some things you want to see then. But they
mean, they make
definitely got
covers for
a
your-
lot of
for your
pictures of me. Then.
webcams and shit.
Yeah, I know. They got tape. There's tape
well,
at
there's
least.
tape, and then there's people actually make millions of dollars on fucking covers.
This actually leads me to an idea I had the other day. Somebody needs to make the dumbed down phone where you get all of the technology that is good for you, minus all of the technology that could be like
Nokia makes that.
Nokia. Really?
Yeah, Nokia makes it's like a half smartphone. It has a lot of modern features.
Like you can surf,
Well,
you can
there's
go on
that one
Facebook,
that's
you
the
have your
all black
apps
and
and
white
everything
one.
like that.
Remember
yeah,
that
but
shit?
there's like it's like they call it the banana phone. It's like
Alright.
curved like this, and the
ring,
bottom
ring,
slides up. Banana phone.
Banana.
Yeah, it's a
banana
Nokia
phone.
device, and you get some of the modern conveniences that you want.
Now,
on a
do you still
phone.
get Snake? Because if it's a
It's
Nokia, and I don't
I'm
get Snake.
sure you get Snake on Nokia.
Oh, Justin, what are you sipping on over there?
Some Shiner sea salt and lime.
Shiner sea
I'm about
salt
to
Picked up
lime.
a Shiner
Alright.
Texas Heat Wave.
I think it's a twister.
sample
It's a
pack.
twister. It is.
And it came with prickly pear, cherry limeade, and sea salt and lime.
I tried the cherry limeade before. I gotta say, as we were saying, it's very nice that they, good sound, and lollipop, lollipop, oh lollipop.
This,
That's
I
a
think
lot
this
of
is
pop.
my favorite out of the mix.
Oh really?
This is a good
It
summer
still
beer.
has a good
You wanna try
beer
this?
taste to it. Yeah, let me give it a sipper of this
Oh,
guy
this is
here.
good.
Yeah, this is. I can drink this all day, like on a day like today.
Ooh, all right.
This is
good.
good.
Yeah.
That is what Bud Light Lime has been trying to do for fucking 15 years and failing miserably.
Yes.
Speaking of failing miserably, I think it's time I ask you guys some questions.
Ooh.
Does that mean it is?
It's trivia time, Justin. And the failing miserably was aimed at you.
Trivia time, I'm a trivial guy.
You know what we found, Mr. Brown?
Trivia time, yeah.
Where's my goddamn whiteboard?
Right next to your heat wave, motherfucker. There it is for you right
damn it.
there.
Yeah, grow
Damn it.
up, you
Damn
son
it.
of a bitch.
Grow up. Oh, you're trying to get us to not have you participate here. Now, I would like to say, before we go into the actual questions, that every
Justin's stupid as
Wednesday
fuck.
night, Justin is stupid as fuck.
Hello.
Every Wednesday night over at the wonderful Cinder Inn in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, I run Trivia Night. And there is plenty of good reasons to stop on by. Other nights of the week, you can check out Slackyoke Karaoke on Saturday nights and Friday nights.
You know what my new favorite night is, though?
What?
Thursday.
Thursday's great. You know why Thursday's extra special now? It's always been our seafood special, but now through the remainder of the summer and probably into at least September, mid-September, every Thursday starting 6, 7 o'clock, they're going to push it back from where we started this last
See,
week.
for me, I don't. Not for me.
Raw bar.
You're wrong.
Raw
You're
oyster,
wrong.
raw
Not for me,
clams.
man.
It is so good.
I'm not a fan.
It is, and
Just
it's the
saying.
same
That
exact time
salsa
as
you
Oath and
made?
Mike. Oh God!
That it was like
He made an onion vinegar. An onion vinegar was it?
Yeah, it was like red wine vinegar
Yep.
and little chunks of onion. Oh my!
It was
I never
spot
even
on.
thought that would be great, but on the raw clams,
Yep.
oh my!
It works.
God.
Now, the he that we're talking about is my roommate and our new chef at the Cinder Inn, Mr. Mike Hoffman. So he is newly on board over at the Cinder. Speaking of
dude.
also newly on board, we've just welcomed the Mad Cat Mark Capone to the Cinder family.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh,
And he is now
really?
our Tuesday night bartender. So while you are
He's the
listening to
man.
us, you can go check him out and just be like, hey, they're talking about you, motherfucker.
Put your headphones on at the bar
and just laugh every time we talk about Mad
and
Cat.
give Mad Cat some dirty looks.
Yes, sir. Now, it's going to be my new tradition after leaving here on the podcast night to go there and drunkenly bother him.
go get drunk with Kyle.
Go get drunk with me around midnight on every Tuesday and hang out with Mad Cat, and we'll discuss, musical theater and things that we used to be involved
He's
with
a great
together.
singer, too,
He's a
man.
phenomenal singer. He's a great actor. I was telling Justin earlier, the first memory I have of Mad Cat Mark Capone is him fake beating and raping a woman in a play that we were in when I was 11.
Weird first.
And I like to mention it all the time because it makes them really uncomfortable. Because the actress, who is a Broadway level actress now. She's going to be actually making her film debut soon. Doreen Montalvo, I believe, is the way to pronounce her last name.
That's a sexy name.
She is a sexy lady, and she has for the last couple of years. She was on
to Stephen Montalvo.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but she's been on Broadway playing Gloria Estefan's mother in Get On Up, the Gloria Estefan musical. So they're going to be making a movie based on another play that she was in, or that play itself. I forget exactly what it was, but yeah, she was a great actress, and she basically looked at Mark and was just full on go for it, just go for it. Yeah. And I'm 11 years old, not supposed to be watching this rehearsal, and just watching Mark very aggressively stage smack a where they turn their back and everything like that. Yeah. But either way, he won't do that to you when you go to the Cinder. I promise. Unless you're a piece of shit, and then I don't promise. He might be. All right. But every Wednesday we do trivia, and every Tuesday here I like to ask you
golf rules,
some questions. What is it?
Golf rules.
Golf rules, yes. The lowest is the best. Yes. So after the first 6 episodes, where if you're counting, that's 18 questions, Zach had 8 right. The guests had 8 right. Yeah. And Justin?
I'm at 3.
You got 3.
Yeah.
18 questions, only got 8 right?
You got 8 right, but...
I'm still very dumb, I guess.
He got 3. He got 3. All right, so tonight's categories and tomorrow night's categories are...
Don't judge me.
Jim Carrey, number 1. Number 2, male pop stars. Okay. And number 3 is sports lingo. So we're going to start right off with...
As long as it's not baseball, I'm good. Baseball, Justin might get the...
This one specifically is not. So, question 1 from the Jim Carrey round, all right? Jim Carrey has had some major hits and major misses in his career, and in 2011, he gave us one of those major misses. This film in question was about a wealthy man who inherits a small group of penguins and begins to transform his home into a winter wonderland for them. What was the name of this monster flop starring Jim Carrey? 2011, it's got penguins. He changes his house into a penguin habitat.
It's based on the book, right?
It's based on a book. It is based on...
But they made me read this book in elementary school.
Cadwell, I think, were the authors. It was a couple. It was a married couple.
It was a
Cadwell or Adwell, something along those lines. Giving a lot of hints here. A lot of hints. So wait, they actually made you read this book in elementary school?
Yeah, we read it in second, third grade, I have no something idea. Like that.
Justin, it came out in the 50s. You were in school by then.
You're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have no idea.
All right, so Zach feels fairly confident over here. So let's see what Zach's answer is.
Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Mr. Popper's Penguins. And Justin, your answer over there?
Who gives a flop?
Who gives a flop? Jim Carrey does, because it was a big flop. And it is Mr. Popper's Penguins, so that brings Zach to
I've never fucking heard of that.
Really?
It's a classic children's novel.
A classic children's novel, not a classic.
Not
a classic film.
From the 50s. It's from the 50s.
The book came out
in my childhood, I've never heard of that.
So you were before the 50s?
Yes.
I don't know if they made us read it in school.
No, I've never. In school,
in elementary school, your teacher
picked things.
So, maybe I just had a teacher that read that when
big Penguin fan. Yeah. Big Penguin fan. Loved
when
DeVito.
They were young, so.
All right, so question number 2. This is male pop stars. All right. And we're going to go with an easy, obvious pop star here.
Okay.
Thriller was one of the biggest albums of all time, but it was only one of 2 albums that Michael Jackson released during the decade we most associate with his success. Right. Thriller was released in 1982. What was the only other Michael Jackson album released during the 80s in 1987? What is the only other album released by Michael Jackson in 1980s, specifically in 1987?
Fuck, what came out after?
It's 5 years. He had a 5-year gap between albums. The one previous, I was going to ask a question about what his first album was called, because I thought it was the one where he's, still a little bit browner, Michael, sitting up against a brick wall. But his first solo album came out when he was 13 years old. Yeah. And it's I forget what song was on it, but it's a young Michael. That music video we watched with the kid dancing in the subway with the hat that looks like young Michael. It's literally that outfit.
Right.
It's that outfit. All right, Justin, do you have any idea on this one?
I mean, I just wrote something.
You think? All right, so Justin, what was your answer that you've given here?
I put bad.
Bad. All right, and Zach,
I also put bad.
You put bad. It is. It's bad. It is bad.
Thank
Bad
you.
was 1987, so that puts Zach up to 10, Justin up to 4.
Catching up.
But hey, you're catching up to the guests because there is no guest tonight.
Yeah, all right.
So they're still sitting at 8.
Yeah.
They're still sitting at 8. All right. And then the third question comes from Sports Lingo. Once again, in boxing, a competitor may take a good beating that leads to them being dazed, bewildered, or confused, both in the ring during the actual fight and even years later from the repeated head trauma and concussions. What is the state colloquially known as in the world of boxing when you are dazed, bewildered, or confused from taking a beating? What is that state known as? Ooh. If you need a hint, I can give you a hint.
Yeah, I need a hint.
It's a vague hint.
Okay.
The phrase is part of the name of an Adam Sandler movie. It is part of the name of an Adam Sandler movie. I didn't come up with multiple choice because I like that hint. The name of this state where you were
Part of an Adam Sandler.
being dazed, bewildered, or confused is part of the name of an Adam Sandler movie.
Oh man, I'm trying to think about all the Adam Sandler.
You get hit in the
movies.
head repeatedly over and over and over again, and you're all wobbly. And
I got it.
All right.
Yeah, my brain just does not work.
Does not work
anymore,
like
man.
that. You don't remember any Adam Sandler movies?
No, I do.
I'll tell you this:
Just
it's
not-
not Spanglish.
It's not 50 First Dates.
It's not 50 First
Oh,
Dates.
man.
It's not 50 First Dates.
Grown
It's
Ups.
not The Wedding Singer.
Grown Ups.
I'll tell you that. Not Grown Ups.
Oh man.
Yeah. Grown Up. That's the state where
Billy
you feel
Madison?
It's so
dazed,
awkward.
bewildered.
It's a different.
It
Adam
is an
Sandler
awkward,
movie.
different Adam Sandler movie.
No.
Any last
I
guesses?
honestly no.
No
I don't
guess?
even have
I got
anything.
it.
All right.
Sure, I
So, Zach, what is the answer you're going
Punch
with?
Drunk.
Punch
Punch
Drunk. It is Punch
Drunk
Drunk.
Love.
Punch
Yeah, okay.
Drunk Love. A
That
Paul
makes sense.
Thomas Anderson film there. It is a weird, wonderful film. It is definitely, it's depressing. It is a...
I think I like those more than some of his actual comedies.
Well, it's like Jim Carrey when Jim Carrey went with Truman Show and then The Majestic, and then
I like number 23.
Number
I like
23, Eternal Sunshine. He has made some amazing movies in that vein, and Adam Sandler's really only given us 2 movies like that, and that's Spanglish. And
I've never
then-
seen either of those movies.
Spanglish is great, dude.
Spanglish is really well done.
It's a really
It got
good
shit
movie.
on because everyone thought it was going to be like a comedy about him falling in love with his maid, but it's like
No,
he
it's very
opposite Taya
serious,
Leone,
yeah.
the former
Really
Mrs.
good.
Duchovny, and it
Oh,
is
she's hot.
she's so
What
gorgeous.
what was
We were
she
just
in
talking
the other day
about her.
that we
Yeah,
were
we were just talking
her?
about the Ben Kingsley movie.
She,
Oh, yeah.
You Kill
You
Me.
Kill Me.
You Kill Me. Yeah.
I think she was also in a Mexican film that's like Love. From
Okay.
Gaspar Noé, where
Yeah.
there's actual sex scenes. And
Oh,
shit like
really?
that. Yeah.
Well, I need to
wanna
look
watch
that one up
that.
right
I'm
now.
almost positive.
So we're gonna wrap up the show now, so we can go
right.
watch Taya Leone get
don't wanna
boned
live stream
by
it right here?
Mexicano.
Live stream the 3 of us all
Please,
jerking off.
right now, get it on the screen.
Back to back though, so
Oh.
we don't have to look.
All right, so
Not
we're
gay.
gonna
Just
Don't look
back
at the
to back.
screen.
we're gonna jump into our first break here, and for our first break, we are going to have a wonderful new song called Pulse by a Philadelphia-based band known as Gestalt. Gestalt is the way that you're supposed to pronounce it, but I'm sure they're just Gestalt. If you don't know, the word Gestalt means a world view. It means like sitting back and taking an over everything
Which I
look
did
at
not
the
know.
situation.
Now I do.
And I only know that because I took 1 semester of an art class at Northampton Community College.
Remember Gestalts from Final Fantasy 13?
Oh.
Yeah.
The Gestalt mode was when
You zoom out? Did you zoom out?
No,
Matt?
you would. What were they calling that? There were espers. Whatever when your summon turned into a vehicle.
Yeah.
So like Snows turned into like a motorcycle and did like a burnout on your face.
Okay.
And
Yeah, they're like
Lightning's turned into Odin's
transform
horse.
summons.
Yeah, your summons would transform
those were the
into some
Gestalts?
sort of I don't know why it was called Gestalt though. It
Maybe
was like
because
your
of the
summons
translation
extra
to Japanese is a
and
little
something
bit different.
fucked up
Okay.
somewhere.
Maybe.
But yeah.
Who knows? Well, this single is called Pulse. It was released this past Friday.
Dude, Pulse is the name of the planet in Final Fantasy 13.
They must be Final Fantasy fans. They
Dude,
must be.
Pulse is the name. Yeah, of the.
Well, the track is actually Pulses.
Pulses.
Oh.
Pulses. Either way, so they're a group of young kids out of Philadelphia that do. I mean, this song specifically is a wonderful piano-driven alternative rock, indie rock feel. Oh, yeah. Again, just released on Friday. You can check them out on Instagram at official.gestalt. That's GESTALT. Official.gestalt on Instagram. They're also available on Spotify and I believe on iTunes as well. So I really like this. This is a very raw sounding, not super overproduced. They put a lot of work into it, and again, I think that like these guys are like 20, 21, 22, somewhere around there. And I had hit them up a couple months back, and they kind of just fell through the cracks, and I didn't get them on during season 2 or the beginning of this season. So I was really happy to hear that they were releasing something new. I went to go message them.
With this, man.
Yeah, man, we got busy. They got busy, and they released this new song. So everybody enjoy the single from Gestalt. Again, this is Pulses. We'll be back in about 3 minutes or so. Yep. Enjoy.
I don't know if I'm falling in love or just falling apart. We both knew the consequences from the start. I should have known better than to follow my heart, 'cause now my thoughts are drowned out with the beating of yours. It's hard to hide behind open doors. I can never ignore your honey, turn the lights down low. If it's mutual, then let it show. Maybe won't you let me know if you'll hold me close, so you can feel the beating of my heart and know that I'm not afraid of the dark. Is this the end, or just the start of the world of which we're apart? Perspire when my heart displays its desire to synchronize to yours. Our love is dire. I can feel my chest catch fire, see the sparks fly higher and higher. My feelings are fleeting in the wake of tragedies repeating. There's no denying I need you by my side. Honey, turn the lights down low. If it's mutual, then let it show. Maybe won't you let me know if you hold me close, so you can feel the beating of my heart and know that I'm not afraid of the dark. Is this the end, or just the start of the world of which we're apart? Turn the lights down low. If it's mutual, then let it show. Maybe won't you let me know if you hold me close, so you can feel the beating of my heart and know that I'm not afraid of the dark. Is this the end, or just the start of the world of which we're apart?
Alrighty, guys. So again, that was Pulses from Gestalt from
Man, I
Philadelphia.
love the piano, man.
They
Yeah,
really, again, it's got a little bit of a piano-driven rock always just kind of reminds me of Ben Folds.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's got that the vocalist has that singer-songwriter feel. And it really just makes me really excited to see what these. I mean, again, there are a bunch of young kids that are putting out really. I mean, it's a very well fucking written song.
Well, immediately Dallas Green popped into my head.
Yeah, that's what you said. Dallas Green, definitely.
Yeah, has that feel.
I'm excited to see what they have coming in the future. So check them out. Keep an eye out again at official.gestalt on Instagram. And check out their shows that they're going to be having upcoming in Philadelphia and surrounding areas. Maybe we'll get them up here at some point. That'd be pretty sweet. But again, just a lot. Literally, that's a very, very ambitious song. There's a lot going on in there, and they're just fucking they're just going full force. So I fucking appreciate them sending us the song, and check them out if you're ever in Philadelphia. Now, speaking of ambitious, we're starting something. We're starting something. And before we start that, Zach's really starting it.
Came up with this is what's going to happen.
But before we start,
I told y'all motherfucker what to do.
We have to mention our other sponsor, the wonderful Main Street Jukebox of Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. I'll let you know from a first-hand standpoint. They will. Hello. They buy and sell records. I just came into a wonderfully huge record collection, and I had a lot of stuff that nobody that I know would have wanted. And I literally brought 8 boxes of records, probably about 700-800 records. 4 of those boxes, Tom was like, nobody is ever going to want these. And I was like, just take them and fill your dollar bins with them.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Don't let the music die. Even if you don't get paid for it, give it to Tom and someone will appreciate it.
Don't throw them in the garbage like they were going to
us
happen.
or bring them to Tom. Yeah. And, maybe you make a pretty penny, and who knows, maybe we'll find something even better
or
in that
ask one of your
store.
other close friends if they want or are into records. Maybe that will start them into a collection.
It's a great way to go, and right now I'm putting together a great record collection from what I've been inheriting, we'll say, to put it lightly.
I'm gonna have Tom order me that Jason Hawk Harris record. Even though I'm probably not gonna listen to it on vinyl,
so
I have it on digital.
I showed 3 people last night.
Did you hear the new song, Justin?
I did not. We were talking about it.
Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
I'm so glad I stumbled upon that, dude.
Yeah, was it you that found it originally?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
because I was on Kotaku. I was on Kotaku, which is a video game website, and the article said yes, because they're also own they also own Gizmodo and all kinds of other websites.
Okay.
But Kotaku to talk about a country album.
Well, they post random music on weekends. That's one of the editors will post what they're listening to, and a lot of the different editors are from all over the country. Some are Japan, some are the States, Korea, so on and so on.
All over the country.
And the world. Yes.
Okay.
And the
Korea's
article
not in America.
The article had said Corpse Paint makes it into country. Oh. So I was just like, I have to click on this.
Was it a music video they did with Corpse Paint? Was that the one?
Yeah.
Okay, Okay, I was to say.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Jason Hawk Harris, that's going to be a fucking amazing album when it comes out, and definitely check out that I'm Afraid. But more importantly, right now, we are... hey!
Thank you for the love, fellows. We'd love to find ourselves up in East Stroudsburg.
Hell yeah, definitely. We got the Sherman Showcase up here. Thanks for joining us live. And come up to the Sherman Showcase. We'll try to get you guys on a show upcoming, because that, again... fucking wonderful music.
You guys should definitally get on the show.
Definitely get up a show.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, who else is going to play us? Not until next year.
Yeah.
Not until we only do one a year. We only do one a year.
And it's a big one.
It's a fairly big one.
That's your microphone, dude.
Is it me?
No, it's your cable.
My cable. What?
That is your cable somehow.
I don't know. That is a lot of...
Excuse me.
Is that not the... Is there...
Are you fucking with something?
No, I'm not doing
That's literally just... Let's everybody turn everything off, because who knows?
I have you off now. It is you.
Me off. It's me. I'm turning everything off on my phone.
No, you have to reseed your cable. Excuse the inconvenience, everybody. And James said, yeah, that song was cool. I just tuned in before you played it. Well, thanks again for being here, James. I appreciate it. Whoa, that's not a...
Something's happening. Whoa. Hello.
I have no idea.
That's weird.
That's
weird.
really weird.
Check the connection in the...
Yeah.
I never heard that sound out of a cable before, ever.
I kind of like it. Can we
It's,
sample?
yeah, I don't know, man. But it's definitely your...
Whoa. Whoa, whoa. It's not coming from that. Not coming from that.
That's so weird.
That's strange. Fun times. Whoa, that's even more fun.
Let me try a different channel.
Let's try a different
weird.
channel. Strange shit is going on here. Whoa, it's even weirder.
I unplugged me and
All right. Well, hey, emergency. We're gonna do some emergency replacement of a cable real quick.
yeah.
So let's just get that turned down
right.
for the time being.
Yeah, that is off. Sorry, everybody. I don't
Sorry
know
about
what the
that.
hell is going on.
If you're hearing that, sorry. If you're not hearing that, sorry as well. So,
Would you like to take a quick break? I can throw up some conspiracy music.
You know what? I think I can talk through this while Zach's getting everything ready. So Zach, who's grabbing a fresh cable for me, he is the mastermind behind what we are planning on doing over the next 6 weeks. What we are actually doing over the next 6 weeks, we are writing a 6-piece epic, and it is wonderfully titled Rubbish, the Garbage Man Epic.
Maybe it's the microphone, dude. I don't know what the fuck is going on. That is even more of a weird sound.
Very weird. I am not sure what's going on there. All right.
I don't know what to do here. We can change out microphones.
All right. Well, how about we just...
That's the weirdest thing ever, dude.
why don't you just turn me down? I'll talk loud enough that you can hear me through that guy over there, because that is a strange occurrence that is happening right now. All right. So...
Let's,
What?
try it one more time.
Go ahead. No, I'm still good.
Weird. Smack it.
Weird.
Smack it.
Sorry,
That is
everybody.
fun, though.
That is the weirdest
sound.
shit
I don't know
I've ever heard.
what the
That
deal
is
is.
strange.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get
But
it.
we can change out to that microphone.
All right, yeah. We'll take a break in a minute when we go over the song. So this is again an epic that Zach put together. It is going to be 6 parts. It is again called the. We got it.
Yeah, it's the microphone.
Check.
Weird.
Check. All right.
It's like a Stranger Things thing.
Weird.
That's
Weird and wild stuff.
Weird, wild stuff.
Yeah, we should put that through a delay pedal, Jameso.
That was strange. So we are getting that in through. Okay.
Turn it more towards
Weird.
you.
More towards me. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Nope.
No.
Talk.
Check. Hi.
It's like no.
I don't know.
All right, we'll fix it in a second.
We'll fix it. We'll figure it out. So, Zach, you came up with this. There we go. You came up with the concept for the 6-part epic that we are going to be doing. And,
what's up, Jess?
Hey, we got
Aliens.
Jess Dalrymple. Her name is Jess Dalrymple on there. Every time she comes on and she chats, I call her Jess Dalrymple because it says that.
Yeah.
And I address people as they present themselves because that's the world we live in. Miss Jess Partial.
Yes.
All right. So, Zach, tell us a little bit about the story behind wanting to do this 6-piece epic and what you developed.
I love concept albums.
Yeah.
And I always plan
Micah.
these elaborate concept albums. And this was one that I thought could get us into the vibe of doing one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little simpler. It's a classic tale of good versus evil. Mm-hmm. I took a lot of inspiration from things like Never Ending Story.
Yeah, you told me when you were doing
Pagemaster?
this, think of like a PG Harry Potter feeling like.
And hugely also The Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
Not any
Yeah, yeah.
particular game, but just the way that The Legend of Zelda is presented usually.
So what is the I mean, do you want to go into what the overarching story that we're going to be approaching is? Because this, again,
I mean, a brief overview. It's a guy who lives in the real world in a mundane job. He's a garbage man.
He's a garbage man.
Touches a mystical artifact and gets transported to a mystical place where he is the chosen one, and he must do battle with the ultimate evil. He's
very
good.
Narnia.
Yeah, very Narnia-esque, very Last Starfighter.
Narnia, if you will.
Any amazing fantasy epic starts with a mundane, normal person. You have your Bilbo Baggins that gets thrust into a world of insanity and has to deal with it, and while they're dealing with it, also come to grips with who they are and what they're doing and who their character is overall. So I've been with knowing that we're going to do this, I've been studying up a lot on Joseph Campbell, and then actually one of my heroes, Dan Harmon, kind of perfected, or not necessarily perfected, but improved on the idea of the story circle.
Yeah, I mean,
where a hero,
he's a madman.
Well, he is a madman. Both of them were madmen. And the story circle, it's very specific. Like, if you watch any movie that is a well-made movie, it all follows the same kind of pattern. You establish who the person is, you establish what they need, you submit them into some insanity, they have a journey, they get what they want, they lose something in exchange for it, they have to pay a price, and then they return back to form, or they become bigger than they were before, or better than they were before. So it's taking that approach, which is I mean, for us, storytelling wise, this is a totally different thing.
And full story, at least. A
full story. And we're doing 6 parts, and this song that we're doing tonight is an overture. Yes. This is in the classic way of film and in Broadway plays. You look at any movie pre-1965, the first 8 minutes of the movie are the opening credits with the overture music, where you're getting all the thematic sounds of what you're going to hear throughout the rest of the film. And it kind of gets you in vein. So that's what we're trying to do here, is give you a classic overture.
Micah did come up with a great name.
Oh, what did he say?
Garbage Man in the World of Insanity.
The World of Insanity.
That's good.
I like it. And I think that would work. I just liked if we could have done the Philadelphia field goal kicking, garbage picking phenomenon too. That was a Tony Danza movie that existed in the 90s.
We'll still be able to get him.
Really bad.
We might be able to get him.
Yeah,
we can get
he
him.
plays a garbage man who's really good at kicking this part of the garbage truck to get it to work. And then he, because of that, becomes a field goal kicker. He was riding the Angels in the outfield. Yeah, for the Eagles. I'm surprised you didn't see that.
I've never even heard of it.
We're going to have to do a movie night for it. So that is the idea behind the story of it. Now, musically, Zach, you came up with a kind of a theme riff.
Yeah, because things are going to
We're going to be repeating and pulling from what we are doing tonight for the rest of them.
It's nice to have a piano in the living room.
Yeah.
We have a...
I agree with that.
If you've never been here...
Oh, a year later, White Piano. Listen to that episode last year.
I came into ownership of a vintage piano. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to have in the living room for whenever I get an idea, I can sit at the full-size piano and
map
work it out. You know?
Sure.
And so this is, a lot of this album is being written firstly on piano, which is a new thing for me too. I'm finally feeling at least comfortable coming up with ideas on the piano. I understand it enough now. I'm not wasting all my time counting, this is a C. And I've got a basic understanding of how it works. And so most of this is it was written on the piano in the living room.
Yep.
All right. Well,
there's that theme that
you
like
hear
when you hear,
opening. You hear it in the opening.
When you hear the Harry Potter music, when you hear Star Wars.
We're trying to Hans Zimmer, John Williams, the fuck.
Yeah, there is a certain.
Pretty much.
I wanted to carry a theme throughout the entirety of the album, and the best way to start is do an overture, and everything that we've played in this song will crop up in the other song.
Now, lyrically, again, you kind of know what the story's about, but this is a vague telling of the overall story. Vocally, for me, I went kind of back to my roots with more of a a Broadway performance style of vocals. The drums, Justin, was there anything crazy or new or different? It was kind of pretty straightforward for you.
I mean, it was just nothing.
Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy.
Not yet.
Well, so this again is Rubbish, the Garbage Man Epic, and this is the overture from that.
Correct.
And I gotta say, you're gonna see it shortly if you're listening and watching on YouTube. But the album cover is epic. The album cover is epic AF for short. So let's just jump right into it. Let everybody enjoy it. What time stamp are we looking at? About 4.5, 4:40, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Alrighty. So we're not trying to stick to the pop here. We're stepping away from the pop music for right now. And this is again the Brunch and Kyle Mocha weekly original single, Rubbish, the overture from the Garbage Man Epic. We'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. Shops and bars, the life I would have chosen if I knew the choice was mine. Not hanging off the back, waiting for my time. The fight of my life, oh how far I've come, lost from my lowly station. Defense, once forgotten son, bring an end to devastation. A touch of something strange, a touch of the grand. Gold found tossed away, fate took me by the hand, forced to find a way to prove my hero's worth, to save the lives of Captalon from an evil not of this earth. The fight of my life, oh how far I've come, lost from my lowly station. Freedom's defense, once forgotten son, bring an end to devastation. I will rise and conquer. I will rise and conquer. I will rise and conquer. I will win the day. I will rise and conquer. I will rise and conquer. I will rise and conquer. I will win the day. right, so there you have it. Part 1 of our 6-part epic. Part 1 of our 6-part epic for the Garbage Man. What do they call it? The Garbage Man epic? The Garbage Man epic. There you go.
Yeah.
So that was the overture.
Our Thor.
It's Our Thor. Is that how we're pronouncing Our Thor? So the hero's name is Our Thor, and the main villain is going to be...
Jess said, love it. Can't wait to hear the rest. Can't wait to hear the rest.
Oh, can't wait. Yeah. Wonderful, Jess. Wonderful, Jess.
Can't wait to read more of it.
The Boar King is going to be the villain in there. Now, Zach sent us a picture of what the Boar King looks like, and I just got to tell you, this imagery needs to stay. Maybe we do, I don't know, something with it in the future, but it is a boar head, kind of human body. But then,
it's like more like a human/gorilla body.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then because his
Big
feet
arms.
are
His
human
feet are
hands.
hands.
And he has a decent cock with a piercing on it in the picture.
Yes.
And that was what I gravitated towards. Don't know why. But that is, again, part 1 of 6. So stay tuned over the next 6 weeks to hear the rest of that.
And then hopefully that'll be... my plan is to get that out on iTunes and Spotify and the whole nine. That should be the first thing that we put out when the album is complete.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, we could go, like, I was brainstorming up a fucking, like a fucking fiend after, like, hearing the not full complete version, obviously, until just now, but when we were upstairs, I was like, we could do, like, a stage production of this thing. This could be a full fucking rock opera style epic. And maybe it will. Yeah. So just stay tuned for more on that.
Now, if we can't get Tony Danza, can we get Charlie Sheen?
I think Tony Danza is more gettable. Yeah. More gettable than Charlie Sheen.
What about, what was, it was his brother.
Emilio Estevez?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I would love to get Emilio.
He's one of my heroes. Yeah. Gordon Bombay like a motherfucker. I'm just saying. Gordon Bombay was the man.
I grew up with him in Young Guns, man.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Young Guns 1 and 2 are so fucking good.
Yeah,
he's great as Billy the Kid. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
What
are we supposed to be drinking next? Should I get it?
Hey, yeah. You want to go grab the wonderful things from the refrigerator that we have?
Don't grab the Arctic Berry.
Not the Arctic Berry.
For whatever reason.
Just a warning. If you're in the Stroudsburg area and you enjoy a good Einstock Arctic Berry, do not go to Beer Time and buy that Arctic Berry because it's sour or something. They
There's
must
some
have
weird
left
chemical
it out.
or some
They must have left it out in the sun for a couple of days and then re-chilled it because that was... I'm assuming that was $15 not well spent there.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, we should call them and let them know that they're sending poison to everybody.
Yeah.
So, one thing, I did forget about this as well. One thing that we did buy from them, now, Zach, you have experience with this. We do not.
Is this supposed to be a single shot?
Not this flavor.
Not this flavor?
Is this supposed to be a single shot?
This is, let's give a good close-up up there.
It's 12%.
12% alcohol by
7
volume.
ounces almost.
It is Johnny Bootlegger Scarface Sour Raspberry. And the girl at the store told me that she is drinking this a lot. She highly recommended this flavor. So we're going to give this a little bit of a taster here while we, again, don't have a guest this week. So technically kind of Zach's our guest because I wanted to talk to Zach about his weekend extravaganza over at the Pocono Raceway.
I'm going to say this with the Smirnoff. Maybe a pretty decent mix by smell.
Wait, the Smirnoff?
Yeah, the red, white, and berry.
Oh, the red, white, and berry is great.
The smell of this.
Oh, it's kind of smell. Yeah, this smells like kind of like a Now and Later or
Johnny Bootlegger.
Oh God! So yeah, here we go. Let's give this a little taste.
Sort of looks like Dick Tracy.
That's definitely malt liquor.
Yep.
That's malt liquor right there. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, there's not really much of a sour as much as there's a malt liquor. All right, so Zach, you went this weekend.
This is real good.
To the Pocono Raceway.
Yes.
For the Pocono 400, correct?
Well, no, it's called the Gander RV 400 now.
The Gandalf RV.
Gander.
Brought to you by Cisco. Not the food supplier, the staff maker. That's a real deep throwback to episode 4 of the first season.
If you can figure out how he does it.
Figure out how he lights those things up.
And undercut that motherfucker.
Undercut him. So, this wasn't your first trip to the raceways, correct?
It was my first Well, it was my first trip to an actual race,
NASCAR
like
race?
to a NASCAR. I've
Not
been
like
to
a small
qualifying,
track.
and I've also been to like Sports Car Club of America races there and stuff
right.
like that. But for the whole shebang of NASCAR weekend,
Hanging out in the
man.
infield.
yes,
Now, all right, so you're part of your family. They've had for the last however many years.
20 years. My
20
aunt and
years?
uncle have had the same spot during the July race.
Now, we'll start with that. Next year, there is a little bit of controversy because next year
Yes.
the raceway will no longer get 2 race
doing
weekends.
it all in one
They're
They're
doing
doing
one.
a double header next year.
And so it is 2 races in one weekend.
2 full NASCAR races.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean the same drivers are doing
Yes.
Saturday and then Sunday? They don't break
Yeah,
it
well,
up, right?
I mean, this weekend there was 3 races, but there's 3 separate
And a lot of
classes.
those,
separate
a lot of
classes.
those dudes. I don't think it's called Busch Series anymore, but is it
No,
Busch
it's the
Series?
Monster Series.
It's a Monster
Or
Series.
well,
the-
there's the Monster Series, and there's the Xfinity Series.
Well, what's the
then
NASCAR?
there's the NASCAR's Monster.
Okay, what is the Busch right below that? Is that
Xfinity.
the Xfinity?
Xfinity.
A lot of those dudes will drive in those as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this weekend
'Cause they
Xfinity
make
was in
money
Iowa,
Okay.
but we had the ARCA race and the
Well, a lot of them
truck
run in
race.
the ARCA races too. You know,
Yeah,
like
a lot of
of
guys
them are
run-
still running all weekend.
Yeah.
But the thing, the double headers is you have this. It's the same cars.
Yeah.
You have your car, your main car, and your backup car,
Yep.
and that's it.
Yeah.
For 2 races,
So they're
on
gonna
2 consecutive days.
Have they ever in the past, to your knowledge, either of your knowledges, have they ever done a double header like this traditionally? Has it been done like in an emergency situation, or
I'm
is
sure
it
with
I
a
don't-
makeup race they
makeup
have.
races?
Yeah,
sure
but
they
I don't
had
recall
done
them advertising
No.
a double header race.
Now-
Yeah, for Pocono Raceway, it is smart because one, it gets people in there for 2 full days.
True.
Which they were going to be there, but it's a bigger event. But they've also been
Well-
doing other stuff with summer stages and other shit. So
See, the problem comes though with your spot.
Okay.
well,
this
yeah,
is the
of
big
course,
problem that
because
my
you're not
family's
gonna
having
have it for both
is
weeks.
that
They've had it
most-
for 20 years,
yeah,
but someone
they've
else
had
has
the-
had the other weekends.
Yeah, they've had the July race for the last 20 years.
So you're
and
getting one day. instead of
Somebody
a full
else has
weekend.
had, but you
don't
might
know.
not get the spot.
You might not get the spot. You have to now fight against somebody else who gets the whole weekend.
So
Wait, so
they-
they're not offering like, okay, you're here on Saturday, they're here on Sunday.
No, because nobody's going to do that. Because everyone goes Friday night and
Friday
stays the whole
night, they stay there
weekend.
because we all know the traffic that
Yeah.
this.
So like my
race
family
brings.
has had it for
Wow.
20 years. They've had spots 69 and 70.
Yes, they
Sounds
have.
Sounds like there's
fine.
going to be some civil wars going on.
Yeah, it's actually, from being in the infield, it's a huge deal. A lot of people are upset about it. Not only fans, but people who work there are upset about
Well,
it.
that's-
You only get
That's
one weekend to work.
$600.
Well,
That's
that's-
$600 a weekend. A lot of those people that go.
Well,
around.
definitely, but going on what Zach's saying here is the one day or the one weekend a year that you're getting the work. It's not only just the one weekend a year now that you're getting the work. The whole local economy of that area is kind of based on your
Yeah,
summer
for sure.
is bookended. I mean, granted, it's the
Well,
end
the
of
local
July,
economy
not
up
end
there
of the
doesn't
summer.
necessarily give a shit because it's Kalahari and Great Bear.
Yeah, but the local people like the restaurants.
I know. I'm not saying.
the
I'm
food-
just saying
the food
that
service, the
the
gas
big,
stations,
the big
everybody.
companies.
I
Yeah.
gotta feel like the drivers don't want to do this either.
Yeah.
Oh hell no! Why would you want to race?
When it's
two
when
major
it's
things
95
back to back?
degrees out, it's 130 in the car.
Yep.
And you want to race 2 back-to-back races?
Mm-hmm.
That
Do you think? Okay, let's go off that idea real quick. Do you think that this could be a tried and failed 1 year off, and then there's like a
See,
union boycott?
no one really knows exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Now
They
there's a
haven't
lot of
announced
rumors
anything.
flying that it's because NBC has the contract for the NASCAR races.
Okay.
The Olympics is next year, and NBC has the Olympic contract. So a lot of people are speculating that this is a 1 year thing because
Okay.
of the
Trying
Olympics.
to do it, yeah.
No, and they're doing it at
Summer Olympics next year already?
yeah. I
Damn.
think Bristol is also only getting 1 race.
Okay.
They're
Damn.
consolidating those.
Well, I didn't realize
and
how many
another
tracks
track.
that NASCAR actually own themselves, but Pocono is a
Pocono is not owned by NASCAR.
know, it's
Pocono
not.
is
It's
one of the
a-
few
yes.
privates.
right.
But no one really knows what's happening next year.
But it definitely is going to, even if it's just 1 year, that is going to fuck up the local economy a lot because
Sure.
people.
They bank on it, dude.
They
They
bank
really
on
do.
it. Like, you think about it, just look at Main Street Stroudsburg when we did not have for the last 4 or 5 years, we haven't had a hotel right at 7th and Main where everybody that's going to the raceways
Well,
can
not only
book
that,
there.
but they haven't done things that they've normally done in the past, or they've cut them down for whatever reason. Like Stroudfest if I don't even know if they're doing it anymore, but that became a
they're
joke.
doing it this year.
Became a joke. It used to be all of Main Street, and then
It used to
was
be
like
huge,
a
but
few
we had
blocks.
a hotel that had 100 rooms or whatever that could fit 400 extra people in it, and that's not there anymore. So nobody is staying in Stroudsburg, and we're technically 25-30 minutes away from the actual raceway. Our economy is being affected because we don't have a hotel to hold them.
Benefiting from it.
The Hampton's benefiting, but that room, all those rooms would have been booked up anyway.
You're right.
So you're looking at people down in the area of, it's at the split in Pleasant Valley. So what technically, is it Lake Ariel? Where is it? Mountain Home? What fucking...
Mountain
Not
Home.
Mountain Home's the other direction.
It's Long Pond.
Yeah,
Long Pond, there you go. So that whole area up there is losing out next year on 2 full weekends of crazy business. It's going to be just 1 weekend, and that definitely sucks, and that hurts the local economy in that way. But just from a NASCAR standpoint, Zach, you're saying that the drivers are probably not going to be happy with this.
I can't imagine the drivers are stoked about this.
Yeah.
No, it's too... granted, even if a lot of them do run in other series, it's not counting towards points on their main thing.
Yeah.
So, like, a NASCAR hunts...
they get 2 races for points, but...
No, but what I'm saying is it's 2 back-to-back races where points are crucial.
Yeah.
That you have to worry about it. It's stressful on top of that for your whole crew.
And you could be looking at a crazy upset then, that somebody that didn't do great the first day and everyone else burned themselves out the first day, you might just see a crazy Cinderella story upset, which could be fun and could be a great thing and could help revitalize a little bit of like the story behind
I couldn't
a race.
imagine, working in kitchens, right? I couldn't imagine, and it's happened, where you have crazy days and it's insanely hot, right?
Choking.
But I couldn't imagine driving around for 5 hours, 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
It's less than that anymore.
Either way, 3 hours, whatever the fuck.
Well, they're
it may be.
going, 150 miles an hour, 400 miles
in 130 degree weather,
fuck
and then
that.
winning, and then being like, all right, well, I'm gonna go get some sleep, and then I gotta wake up
with the
early.
same car, though.
Yeah,
with the same car.
Now they
So
have said
the
that
work
is
overnight.
official, that it will be
The same car. They
the
can't
same
bring other
cars.
things.
You know
Now-
what I mean? You only have 2 cars.
You
That's
said
it.
not much has been announced about the actual weekend itself. So do we know which weekend they're picking? Are they picking a new weekend?
I believe it is June.
it is June. So
is
they're sticking
June,
with
the
the
weekend.
beginning. Now, all right.
Because
So
the second race is what?
end of July. It's end of July. Right?
Oh
It's
yeah,
the
that's
beginning
right.
of June. End of
June's
July.
the first
Yeah.
one, end
Yeah.
of July. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So, all right. So that's kind of like the for anybody that's not familiar, as I am not really super familiar with the NASCAR world. That's kind of like the drama behind the scenes of what's going on at Pocono Raceway itself, and I'm sure that was a huge topic of conversation.
Well, it's all anyone talked about for a while.
Aside from that, why don't you just give us kind of like a little walkthrough of what the weekend, what the experience of being in the infield was? Because I've heard stories from people that went, oh, I used to go back in the 80s and the 90s, and there were girls fucking flashing their tits, and you got all these fucking like mud pits and everything. People are full on wrestling, and they can't do that shit anymore, so I don't go anymore. How enjoyable, how insane, how fun, or how commercialized is it? Like Warped Tour 97 versus Warped Tour 2017? Like, are you getting like the over commercialized version of it, or is it still a fun, good old fashioned redneck time?
It is a good old fashioned redneck time.
Hell yeah.
Now, it is a lot more family friendly, from what I understand, than it used to be.
Well, you're not walking around. People are
Topless.
exchanging fucking cigarette packs, like 2 cigarettes for a full cigarette pack.
Yeah, I mean, but they were driving around giving out free Monster all weekend.
I'm
so
sure.
it's
'Cause that's healthy.
It's just another poison.
That's healthy.
Different poison.
But no, the infield was.
So that
is
is Warped
full
Tour
of-
2017 there.
It's full of a lot of
Yeah.
families with money. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
You gotta
For
have money to
sure,
have a
dude.
spot. You gotta, everyone's got a camper. There's
Especially if you're in the infield. If you're just going in the stands, whatever.
like literally our neighbor on spot 71 had a $350,000 camper.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
And do they just travel? Do they travel around?
Bill, our neighbor there,
So he's like
He
a
goes to
seasoned holder.
tons of races.
Yeah.
He goes.
I mean, if you're buying a $350,000 camper,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean,
other races.
You're not just doing that.
He is
You're
a
not
old-
just
I
owning
just go to
that for one
Pocono,
race.
man,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
see
he
this
is
thing.
a retired guy. He's
Well, if that's
in
what
his
you like, dude, that's what
mid-60s,
you like.
and it's
I mean,
what he
whatever.
He
I
loves
love
the
races.
sport.
Yeah.
But it is a lot. There's a lot of families. You know, there's kids on bicycles everywhere. But everyone is drunk.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Everyone.
Even the
is-
kids on bicycles? Maybe.
I'm not going to say
They're
not
that.
gonna
they're
say
drunk
that.
on fumes.
We're not going to
my
say that into a
friend.
microphone, Siri.
But there
Yeah.
was
She
you know,
didn't
in
respond.
my family especially.
Hey Siri.
A lot of drunk people.
Alexa, buy toilet paper. You're welcome for the toilet paper. So a lot of your family, now you had said, because you said you were going with your family. I assumed you were going with like your mom, your dad, your brother.
No, it's my
Lindsay.
aunt.
And then on Saturday night, I got done with work, and your family is sitting at table 1 inside the Cinder watching the band play, and I look
I
over and
didn't
I'm
realize that they came back down.
like, oh no, they didn't. His parents and his brother did not go to the race. It was just him.
Oh.
I thought it was his whole family.
Yeah, I
as
thought
you
everybody
did.
went with you.
You know, Zach went with
No,
the
I was
other
there
side
with
of the
my
family.
aunt's side of the
Yeah,
family.
yeah. So I replaced
The real
Zach on Saturday with his
Kunkletown
family.
rednecks.
His dad told me he was proud of me, gave me a hug and a kiss on the fucking cheek and everything, and it was like, I'm proud of you, son. And I went, thanks, Dad. But so you went. I really want to repeat the story he told me, but he swore me to secrecy on this story. But you, so you went with your aunt and your uncle, and they had an RV or a party bus.
Yeah,
type
they
of
rented
thing.
an RV.
Okay.
I slept out in the tent though.
Mm-hmm. And you went like, I mean, it wasn't total glamping style, you know, but you had a decent tent.
No,
Was
we had
there a
a
spot that you could take a shower and all that shit?
Yeah,
Okay.
they have these tractor trailers that are portable showers.
Okay,
Nice.
You
that's
pay
cool.
for it.
Oh yeah, I assume that's
I
not
didn't
free.
take a fucking shower though.
Why would you?
Yeah.
If
I
you're
just,
gonna
I
walk
just changed
around-
my underwear
Burn
and
your
socks every
dirt.
morning, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was packed this weekend from what I was told. It was packed.
Okay.
There's a
I
lot
mean,
of
especially
people,
if there's
you
a
know.
rumor of fucking
No more.
this is
after
the
this.
last year,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah,
People
for
are like,
July
fuck
race.
it, we're going.
I mean, it was a good time. There was we all we did was drink and eat. We drank so much. I drank 2 cases of beer.
Yeah.
60
And you
beers.
brought 2 cases of beer.
Yeah,
Yeah. You brought what you said, Natter Days,
Natter
and Natty
Days
Light?
and Natty Ice.
Natty Ice. All right.
Yeah. But there's people with like their trailer was just a smoker on wheels.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? People making all kinds of
Fuck yeah.
food. Everyone was eating and drinking good. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's what a race is, though, man.
Then
Any-
you fucked up.
Like
It's your own fault.
realistically, even small tracks when we used to go to Flemington Speedway, like you would go, people were drinking, you're drinking, eating, and fucking having fun watching cars go fast.
Hell yeah.
You know, like
And
that's what it is.
There's
man.
bands at night. There's a big ass stage where a couple bands play at night. There's a whole bunch of vendors. I had crab cakes from the Frog Town.
Oh, dude, that's sweet.
Nice.
Pocono Pickle Guy was there. I had some of the spiciest pickles that they had.
Okay.
I was feeding them to the hot bartenders.
Ooh.
Because, you know, there's a little bar there that only serves Bud Light and Busch. And they're both $5 a can.
Jesus.
And that's all they serve.
fucking
Small
Christ.
12 ounce or pounders?
12 ounce.
Yeah, that's well, they gotta make their money,
Just so
right?
you know, you can get a 6-pack of pounders for like $8 pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, but it's in the infield. Like, what do
Yeah.
you, like...
You're not gonna.
What do you expected?
Now,
Everyone
were you
brings
locked
their
in?
own.
Were you locked in there?
Technically, you are, right?
Yeah, I mean...
you can't leave
I
the
supposed to
probably
leave.
could have left and came back, but it's logistically not really possible.
Okay, so
Now-
once you're
I mean,
in,
maybe
you're
if I had my motorcycle there, I could leave and come
Right.
back. But
I just wasn't sure,
There's no
like, if you
point.
end up staying at the infield.
But everything you kind of need for the weekend, like
there,
if you
yeah.
were
You
to
gotta
show
bring
up,
it, you
if
know?
you were to show up unprepared, you would either have to rely on the kindness of strangers or pay out the ass to be
Yeah.
drunk and fed all day.
yes,
So there are food vendors
Yeah.
There are drink vendors. You sent us a picture of a 101-ounce pina colada.
Yeah,
that
they had
sending.
101 ounce pina
They were selling,
coladas
yeah.
at the
That's crazy.
Coco Bongos.
Coco Bongo.
There was a mechanical bull you could ride and win some money.
Oh wait, a what? A mechanical
They had a mechanical
bull?
bull. It was $10 to ride it.
Did you do
but
it?
But if you went all 8 seconds, you won $200.
Oh,
Won $200.
Yeah.
Did
Now-
they just have it like on
seconds?
extreme?
Have
They
you
probably
boys
put it
been
all
on a
the way up.
mechanical bull?
No, dude.
I sat on
Do
a
I look
mechanical.
like I'd be somebody that would?
I
go
sat on a
here?
mechanical bull once in a bar that it was closed when it
You didn't do it
when
at
I
Jocks
happened.
when we had it?
No, I never did it at Jocks. I was
Man.
terrified of doing it
I
at
did
Jocks.
a bunch of Jocks.
And I was at a bar one time. I forget what bar it was. I think I was out in LA, and they had a mechanical bull, and I sat on it, and the guy started it. I went, I'm just going to put it to the lowest level because I think the bar wasn't even like either wasn't fully opened yet or we were just like there really early. And I was like, I'm interested. And I sat on it and he went, I'm going to put it on like basically, I'm going to put it on a 1 of 10. And it went, and I went, yeah, no, get me off this thing. After like 4 seconds, I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna fucking die. I'm gonna die.
Have you guys ever been to a real rodeo though?
I've been to the Shawnee Rodeo back in the
I
day.
mean, I guess that's sort of real.
They have
Well,
real
man.
things.
Yo,
live
those
animals
guys
and
are
such.
fucking crazy. When I was in New Mexico, we went to a fair that had a full-on rodeo. And the bull riders, dude,
They're out of their mind.
I don't get why. Like, I get why they're doing the adrenaline rush and the fucking... But,
The money.
dude, that's fucking
Yeah.
crazy. Dude.
Yeah. Or how
Dude,
about the
even
guy who
to
just
do-
dresses up like a clown and
Oh,
just
the
like
clowns,
the
yeah.
fucking... That guy's... If he's not the highest paid person in that operation,
But he's
fuck
not.
life.
He's definitely not.
Oh,
He's
he
the
isn't.
lowest paid.
Yeah, probably. He's a clown.
Those people just
He doesn't even get to write off his white fucking cake makeup. He doesn't even get that. So what would you say is the weirdest or most extreme redneck thing that you experienced on the weekend?
Barbie downhill races?
No, they didn't have that.
Damn.
I wish they had that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was tamer than I thought it was going to be. It's not like the way that my father described it to me
Well, I
in the
mean,
80s.
all right.
It's a way more family affair.
Yeah.
Now, one of the funniest things I did see across from us on the fence, across the track, on the outfield fence,
Okay.
where the huge campers go that can't fit in the infield.
Right.
There was
how big are they?
some guys with pools, full fucking like the
Like,
little blow up pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But completely full pools, people with hoses.
Where the fuck are they filling this shit up from?
You bring it in. When your camper's that big, you can bring enough water in to fill your pool. And there was these two
Seems like a
big
fucking
guys.
waste,
It's
dude.
a waste.
had to be like 400-pound dudes spraying each other with the hose all weekend.
Just back and forth,
just
spraying.
yeah. Oh my god,
my
it was
God.
it was gross and
There
funny.
are parts of the
and
world
what
that
we-
would
what we
die
should
to
really
see
do,
that
though-
much water.
What we should really do, we should go up to Orange County
Yeah.
one night when they're running like sprints, or just
I've been
go
down
for a
with
whole
that.
night, man. It's a dirt track. Those small tracks are like the embodiment of old times.
Old
Like,
timey
Yeah.
racing, like the
fights. You can walk into the infield after the show, or after the fucking races.
Yeah. And I'm
You
sure
know,
it's still just a huge fucking party going on in there.
Oh, it's a party.
Yeah.
You're walking up to like people loading their trailers.
But
with
those
fucking
aren't
destroyed cars.
nationally
and-
sponsored things. They're not necessarily.
Some are. Sometimes they have nationally running. Like,
But I'm
sometimes they're
saying in the
nationally running
level
sprints
of
and stuff.
NASCAR to the fact that you might get the girls flashing your boobies.
Oh no, you're
for
definitely
fucking,
getting.
okay.
You're
Because that's what I'm
100 billion
assuming. The
%.
stories that I've heard working at the Cinder, talking every race week in the last 2 years, to people that have gone in the past that refuse to go nowadays, it's mainly, honestly, the big thing is people go, yeah, girls don't flash their boobies anymore. It's not really that worth it.
Yeah, because there's
to go
children
in.
everywhere.
Because there's children.
and
There's children.
That's a mainstream thing.
But I've heard also from a good friend of all of ours, Rich Blackmore, that when he was a child, his father played in one of the bands that would play in the infield, and it was literally like kind of like a fun thing to just like everything go crazy, and you got your kid there. Fuck it, whatever. Your kid's there. Fuck it, whatever. He's gonna learn
different
sooner or
times.
later.
I mean, realistically, I wouldn't give a shit.
yeah.
If
Oh,
I
God.
was a parent, I wouldn't give a fuck.
I think
Whatever.
it's
Show your
changed though
tits.
because It's an expensive sport to be a spectator
Yes.
of, especially if you go to a race.
Yes.
Okay.
It is not
It's
cheap
like-
to have a good spot. It is also not cheap to have an RV.
All right, so those dudes that have those expensive RVs are not going to a downhill Barbie
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
That shit is kids,
Backwoods.
Yeah, that's backwoods, but they have some sort of money because they're destroying massively lifted fucking vehicles in mud pits. But that is like, I don't know. That'd be like going to a fucking monster truck show, expecting fucking people to show their tits. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Monster
gonna
Jam
happen.
is for kids.
It's not, it's not gonna. NASCAR is for people that are into
Sunday,
the sport.
fun
and
days.
whatnot.
Yeah, it's for families.
Yeah.
But that didn't make it not fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm
not saying that you're
a
not
ton
gonna
of
have
fun. I was riding the recumbent bike.
Oh yeah,
Those
you're
bikes
saying
that you
though,
lay
you
down
back on.
That's
You
cool.
sit like this.
Hell yeah.
So I got up on the.
And you paid her to just rent one for a day or
No,
an afternoon or an
the
hour?
You can
people
go
I
on
was
the
with
track
had
at
them.
all?
Oh, nice.
Can you go on the track at all?
Not the
Actual.
not the
the
actual
actual
track,
track.
but I was riding the recumbent bike on the road course.
Okay, that's
Okay.
cool.
And I was
Hell
just
yeah.
ripping it on the road course,
Fuck
just
yeah.
pedaling my fucking balls off.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was a good time.
Now, okay, so I asked you about like the most extreme rednecky thing, but what was for? I mean, the group that you were with, and like obviously you said $350,000 whatever vehicle RV that was next to you. Your aunt had a rented RV. You were in a tent. What is the main like housing for people? Like, are most people in an RV or are a lot more people in tents?
There's, I would say it's probably 50-50 RVs and tents.
Okay. Is there a price difference, do you know, based on what you bring, or is it you get your spot and whatever you bring to your
your
spot?
spot costs whatever. You can park whatever you want.
All right. So whatever
And
you
then
want.
so you pay for the spot. So I don't know what they paid for.
Is
the
that a
spot.
per person thing, or is
No,
it literally
you just pay for
however
the
many
spot.
people can fit in there can fit in
Yeah.
there?
Well, no. They pay for the spot, and then each
It's like a
person
flea
is
market
$50.
spot.
Okay.
So I
50
paid
bucks.
$50 for my wristband to be in there all weekend.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Which, when you look at the price of getting in the grandstands, it's so much cheaper. than
Well, what's the
infield.
grandstands running people?
It depends on your seating, but
Yeah.
but I mean
But
realistically,
you can
most
easily
I
play
mean how
over
much
$100.
you're seeing the same amount of race
Yeah.
as you are in the infield as you are.
Yeah.
Now I
Like
don't
what
know.
most people don't. If you're really a fan of NASCAR, like yes, you can go have a good day, but don't expect to fucking sit in the grandstands and have an enjoyable fucking race experience.
Yeah.
Now the people that were in the infield that were true diehard fans of the sport,
Well, they probably had
They all had
TVs on.
TVs.
They had
Yeah.
TVs
They had
and
TVs
fucking
and
walkies.
headsets, yeah.
Because they're listening into the drivers and
Because
they're
again,
watching
you're
it on
at
TV.
spot 69 and 70. You're getting all
But then,
of
yeah,
the race.
dude,
You're getting
literally the one time that
And
I
that's
went,
it.
the one time I went, we were 5 rows from the front.
So you've been in the infield before? Or
No, I've been in the grandstand.
Just the grandstands. Okay.
So 5 rows from the front of the from the front seat. So we were the 5th row. And all you would hear is like you would see people like, okay, here they come, here they come, here they come, and people would start standing up, and then you just see streams, like I shit you not, just streams of color passing you by.
well, especially if
because they
you're
are going so fucking
the
fast.
grandstands on the front straight.
Yeah.
And the front straight.
Yeah.
It's literally one of the fastest, if
Yep.
not the fastest, straightaway in all of NASCAR.
Like if you want to see,
The 400
just
at
streams
Pocono
of color.
specifically, that's straight
well,
away.
Pocono straightaway is Pocono might be the longest. I think it's the longest track. It's 2.5 miles,
Okay.
and the front straight is almost a mile.
It's
crazy.
Other
Dude,
tracks
but
like
legit-
Dover is only 1 mile. It's an oval and it's 1 mile.
So everything's a quarter,
the whole
a quarter.
the whole track of Dover could
Oh yeah, you
fit
could
into just the front straight of
see if you
Pocono.
just want to watch
That's
cars,
absurd.
like if you want to watch cars going in circles
Yeah.
and have a good time, yes, go to Dover. You can see the whole fucking race.
Yeah.
If you want to do that at Pocono, nah, you might as well
can't
just
see the-
stream. You
you
just might as
can't
well
see the
stream
whole
fucking.
track.
You might as well just paint your eyes over colors. 'Cause
Like we almost
you're not seeing
couldn't
shit.
hear the cars when they were on the front straight because
Yeah.
we're on the back straight.
yeah.
And that's what you're saying.
That's
so
how big of a
how big the
fucking
track
track
is.
is.
So that means the infield of itself is a massive fucking area. I've never
yeah.
I've driven by it. I've seen
No,
the
it's-
stands. I've
Like
never
he
been
said, there's
on
a road
property
course.
there, so I
I
don't
mean,
really
they
know.
use
The
part
whole
of the
road
actual.
course is inside the.
Well, sometimes they open it up to the outside too. So,
Okay.
So they'll use part of the actual track onto the road course, I believe, depending on what it is.
Yeah, that's
but
what
there
we
is
did
a
when
full
we
road
went and
course.
watched Mark there. They ran the front straight
Yeah.
and then ran the road course.
But they do have a full enclosed road course in the infield. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a whole racetrack inside the racetrack.
That's absurd. That is absurd. Now, all right, so you watch the races on again. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There are races.
Yes.
And Saturdays, you said the trucks.
Saturday's trucks. Friday was the ARCA race.
Okay. And is there any one that's more entertaining to you than the other from where you're sitting, or is it all kind of the same
They're all
experience?
right.
From where
Can I
you're, from
just-
where I'm sitting, from where I was sitting, it all. You could tell that the NASCARs were faster than the trucks,
Sure.
and the trucks were faster than the ARCAs.
Yeah.
But
But
here's
it
the
didn't
thing.
really change the experience.
Here's the thing with that. NASCAR, the NASCAR trucks or the truck series, ARCA, they all have changed in the past years where every car is basically the same. All of the same engines,
Yeah.
regular or restricted. You know, same thing with trucks, same thing with ARCA. It's all about your driver and your team at that point. So gone is the excitement of having a super fast car and a really good fucking team just dominating. I mean, obviously, like Zach said, the NASCARs are going to be faster,
Yeah.
but the trucks do run in smaller tracks. Like I've watched them run at Flemington in the past, and that was a lot of fun. But
Well, and because I've been racing some go-karts lately
Okay. Didn't know that.
at work.
Oh, nice.
When all the cars are pretty much the same, and you're racing a circle track, the racing really comes down to is who has the balls to stick it in the corner.
yeah,
Okay.
pretty
So
much, yeah.
the cool part about NASCAR is that every car is almost exactly the same.
Yep.
Whether you're running the Chevy or the
I mean,
Toyota
that's
or
just
the
a fucking
Ford.
body.
Yeah.
You know what I
what I
mean?
mean?
They're all the cars are.
Well, it's all
very,
regulated
very-
now, right?
It's all regulated,
Yeah.
but the racing is in the corner. Who has the balls to
Yeah, to
fucking
push it.
Gun it.
to push it in the corner? Which, from for me racing these go karts where they're all the same, and
Yeah.
it's me and my brother and some other people racing them. When you're all on the same machine, then it's really a driver skill.
Oh yeah,
thing,
well that
which
and your
is
team,
sorta
your
cool.
your pit crews, your
Yeah.
all of that. Like
It comes down to,
plays
and that's
into-
the way that it is actually a team sport.
Yes.
And something that when I was talking to you, Zach, about the whole like weekend experience,
Who won the race?
Harvick.
Harvick.
Ken Harvick.
Now, you were talking about kind of what NASCAR is trying to do to bring newer fandom into it. There are the people that just like watching cars go round and they're just going to go no matter what to watch the races.
Yeah, and then you get the
But to try
mechanical
to approach the people that are looking more at the numbers game side of things.
Yeah.
The point system has evolved
think-
to a spot.
they've NASCAR races now stage races. So basically, every race is 3 races,
Yeah.
and the Coca-Cola 600 is 4 races.
Okay.
And a lot of the OG fans have complained about it just because they don't understand
They don't like
why
change.
they've switched. But
Yeah.
NASCAR has switched to this stage racing thing to make it more interesting for people
Yeah.
like us. You know what I mean?
Somebody
I'm
that
a-
can nerd out on
I'm
something.
a big football fan. Football is incredibly complicated. You guys are baseball fans. Baseball's
I mean, it's
all
the same
about
thing.
numbers.
It's all numbers and yeah. It's,
So NASCAR is trying to make their new system and the way the points work. They're trying to make it more intricate and complex to get people like us who would watch baseball or football, or
Yeah, and-
or
Yeah.
not only
Overwatch
that,
or
but
Fortnite.
it gives your commentators something to talk about, where it's like you know percentages and stuff like that, instead of being a John Madden moment where it's like you have to put the foot over the metal to win this fucking race.
Every sport-
he wins. 'cause
Every
he got
sport
there
has gone
first.
through it. You know, you look
Sure.
at football from the 70s.
Sure. Oh,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
not nearly what football
Oh no,
today
No,
is.
no, no. Same thing with
There's
baseball.
an evolution
Yeah.
there,
Hockey.
exactly.
And
All of them.
some people are upset about it, but NASCAR didn't do it for the OG fans. They did it for people like me, who
Sure.
I haven't been into NASCAR since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Well, I think
But now it's far more interesting
I think the
that
smartest
they've
thing
made
that
it
they
more complex.
could have done too is simplified certain things too. You were just talking about go-karts, and if you have a kid that is racing go-karts, because that's usually where you start.
Yeah.
If you're getting into it, you're going to get into some form of go-kart racing, where every machine is the same and it comes down to your skill. So as they're going, looking at NASCAR as the ultimate, minus F1. You know, F1 is the ultimate. It's very fucking
F1
hard to
is the
get into
ultimate,
that.
yeah.
Like, no matter what anybody says, F1 is the ultimate of ultimate racing. Like,
Okay.
It's a rich man's pissing contest. No, it really is. There's only, how many? 28 drivers, 23 drivers, 26 drivers.
I mean, and they're good. They're doing 200 miles an hour.
But I
on
mean,
road course.
there's literally only a specific amount of drivers, specific amount of teams.
Yeah.
And I mean, why do you think Mercedes has an F1 team, but they don't have a NASCAR team? It is the
it
premier
is.
racing.
But NASCAR regulating and getting things so that it's a very normal formula for people to get into, especially if you're into racing.
Yeah.
It makes fucking total sense, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm with the. I'll say that I enjoy the new rules and the stage racing of NASCAR. This is the second year that they've done it, and it is far more interesting.
Now, I grew up with families who were into it. My dad's a mechanic. He's built cars for small tracks. He's been into NASCAR. My grandfather was huge into it.
Yeah.
I've been to NASCAR races. Used to watch it on TV when I was younger. Dropped off as I got older because, one, I was working all the time, and two, I'd rather probably play video games for most of it. But I don't know. It gets a lot of flack, but it's fucking a brutal sport, man.
Hell yeah.
It is a sport, no matter what anybody says.
And to kind of segue here a little bit into something that Zach and I had talked about, and I didn't actually tell Zach that I looked up the numbers. We discussed the fact that the race, I mean, I'm going to assume that Pocono Raceway itself can hold at least 100,000 people between the infield and
probably
and the actual grandstands, if not a little bit more. So you got to figure this into the numbers of the actual amount of people that watched. While this race was going on, there was also the Fortnite World Cup happening.
Yes.
So Zach kind of proposed the thought. He goes, I wonder what the viewership of the NASCAR race versus the Fortnite World Cup viewership, what that was.
Do you know? All right, real quick. Do you know what the take-home prize was for?
$3 million.
It was
$3 million for a fucking 16-year-old kid.
No. It was $3.3 million. But what was the NASCAR? What did they get for winning? And I think it's a couple million as well.
Couple million. All right. So prize-wise, it might be similar.
So good on him.
That's sweet. Hell yeah. And a 16-year-old kid. Hopefully, you don't get Macaulay Culkin.
But that doesn't mean for parents out there that every kid is going to be a Fortnite master.
Oh yeah.
Don't let them fall into the trap. I love video games, man, but don't let them fall into the trap of playing and not taking care of them.
Yeah. Now, what Zach kind of threw out there, he was wondering what the viewership one versus the other was. Now, I'll say this: I was not able to get an accurate number for the Fortnite for this weekend, but
each day. All right, so let me just say this:
do you know?
I don't know total numbers, but on the Fortnite channel itself,
yes,
when I looked at it at one point, it was 146,000.
Okay.
Then you had
live streaming,
and then you had 8 major streamers who were just also streaming it because they were a part of it.
And then add their viewership into it.
All right, so Ninja alone had 38 million. 38,000.
38 million, Jesus.
38,000. Tim the Tatman had 35,000. Dr. Lupo had another 22,000.
Okay.
I want to say roughly in the numbers, you're probably looking at about 280, maybe 300,000 people watching Fortnite.
All right. Well,
not including the people that are also there.
All right. Well, I will tell you this. Not counting the live room, this weekend's NASCAR race, this Pocono Raceway, had 1.6 million viewers. All right. 1.6 million viewers on television.
Yes.
Now, we're comparing television to streaming, which say what you want. That's what we got to do now. We got to compare the two of them.
But they got 3.3 million for winning, and you're about 380,000.
Yeah. But 1.6 million viewed the live race for Sunday.
Right.
Plus so we'll round it up to a 1.8 million for live and everything else that happened. All right. Last year's numbers for the Fortnite World Cup, or the equivalent to it, was 10.8 million viewers.
Okay, so I mean, I'm just going by what Twitch streaming.
You're going just off Twitch streaming.
On what I looked at a specific time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they are, and this is what we were kind of talking about, that NASCAR is trying to pull this into the modern era.
Now there is a difference to be made. This was just a race.
Yes.
This wasn't Daytona.
The World Cup.
This wasn't the final race. This
race.
wasn't a championship.
Right. It's
But
not
this
it's not a World
was
Series.
the
It's not a
Fortnite
Super Bowl.
championship.
This was the Fortnite
But
championship.
still,
But
it's
you
very
look at those
close.
numbers,
Hey, man,
you have 10 times the amount of people watching a sport.
In
Because we'll call it
Philadelphia.
a sport or an e-sport or
Well,
whatever
it
you
is
want to call it.
It's a sport. They follow the same rules.
They
do.
are 10 times the amount of viewership for a sport that has existed for, what, a decade? A decade?
More than
versus
that.
Wait,
Fortnite is not even 2 or 3 years old.
Okay, so, but I'm saying
But
esports in general.
I mean,
like 20 years maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Like
I mean, it started with Quake 1.
So if you want to look at that and then compare it to NASCAR, where you go, okay, bootleggers in the 30s.
Sure.
If you want to equivalent.
I mean, if you think about it.
Yeah.
All right. So, video games you can capture, especially with devices. Everybody has a phone at this point. Fucking newborn babies are handed phones as soon as they pop out.
That's what I think the doctors do now. They smack them with an iPhone and then hand them with a contract. Yeah, exactly.
Sign this away.
Yep.
Don't worry, your dad is safe.
Your Verizon for life.
But it's all of these guys who are making a fuckload of money doing things like making sure that NASCAR can have their logos up on televisions and all this shit like that. And they have all this endless amounts of money, and then what do? They invest it in the stuff that they love and sports that they love, which happens to be esports.
Yes.
Now, Fortnite had a championship, so did Counter-Strike. Well, Counter-Strike has multiple championships every other month. Then you have League of Legends, which has one coming up soon. Overwatch League is going to finish off their championship in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And Philadelphia just built a massive esports arena, which I'm actually excited for. I want to go to a couple events and check it out and see what's going on about it. I mean, if it's shitty, then I won't go again.
Yeah, you do it one and done. If it's not worth it.
But if it's cool, definitely check it out. But, I mean, people are going to go where money is. And if you can play video games and make money...
Oh, definitely.
But it's the American dream in the sense that it's a select few. It's just like any recording artist, any of that stuff.
Yep.
It's a select few. The big
you
streamers,
can aspire all you want, but
the big streamers, until the moment they say "fuck you guys, I'm done," they will continue to do it and rake in money, even if they lose people along the way.
All right. So now to kind of wrap up this conversation, because this is where I was hoping we would kind of end this conversation. Both of you grew up in more of a exposure to NASCAR and exposure to racing. Both of you grew up in that world, and I know nothing of that world.
Sure.
And both of you enjoy gaming, and another thing that I know very little about, other than what you've exposed me, and I've gone into on my own. But I would say that I know pretty much about the same about both of them as far as a competitive sport.
See, I will say this: you've probably gamed just as much as I have. You just don't realize it.
No, they don't
you
count
played Tetris.
solitaire
You
on
played
my phone,
Tetris.
right?
You played Words with Friends. You played any of that shit is video games.
Yes.
When it gets into a video format,
it's a surrogate for the board game that I'd rather be playing.
But that's what video games are.
Yes.
Surrogates to board games because you can't have people in your house.
What I want to ask, though, and what I want to know for the two of you individually, and however you answer is however you answer,
right.
Looking from where both sports stand now and looking forward, are you more excited for, quote unquote, the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the old school sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the old school sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the old school sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the next generation of sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the next generation of sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the next generation of sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the next generation of sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the next generation of sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the next generation of sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the next generation of sports? Are you more excited for the next generation of sports, or are you more excited for the next generation of the future of what NASCAR has to hold and with their adaptation of the new point system, or are you more looking forward to the esports side of things? Which one do you think
for me
which one do you feel is more profitable or more going to sustain the length of time at this point, and which one are you more excited about personally?
Okay, to answer all of those questions, I'm more excited for esports because I'm a nerd.
Yes.
I watch Twitch a lot. I watch Overwatch League. I am a fan of competitive things.
Yes.
Video games to me, when you get to that level, is a chess match, or it's like watching, I don't know, like baseball, in the sense that, yes, it's not very physically strenuous.
Yeah.
It's a very mental game.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to outplay players. So esports definitely, I think Blizzard setting up Overwatch League and major companies taking on teams, and I understand Overwatch is very niche, Fortnite is very niche, but I feel like as game development and other things go, they've been really pushing it so that esports are going to sort of channel into what people like a little bit more.
Okay.
I think the future of NASCAR is digitally. It sucks in that sense, but it is still a rich person sport. It's relying on, well, actually I shouldn't say NASCAR is digital. NASCAR it has to get away from fossil fuels and what they're doing for it to sustain, because it's not going to sustain. Eventually it's just going to get to a point where, like, all right, nobody else is fucking doing this shit, but all of these race teams are. Like, F1 already has fucking electric cars.
I was
and
going to say
stuff
electric.
like that.
Okay.
So NASCAR is going to have to change in the sense, and when they do that, do the fans still follow? So it's a very weird thing. It is a very old. I don't want to say old sport, but it's a very old sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I would enjoy watching NASCAR where you're just hearing electric motors pass you by, or simulated sounds. Yes, they're gonna go fast as fuck, but is it the same fucking thing? You know what I mean?
So you are more pointed towards the onwards and upwards with the esports. Your excitement leads more towards that.
I just like watching people outthink other people. If you had to choose
between going to see an esports event live or a NASCAR event live, would you go to esports?
That's hard to say. It depends on the actual esports. Like, I would still go to a NASCAR race, man.
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
Like, I don't get me wrong, I love racing, but I still want to check out some esports stuff. Mine is traveling around and doing things for Counter-Strike back in the day. Yeah. Before it really blew up. I've never been to a professional thing. You know, back in the day, it was like this kid, his online tag was Fatality. That's, you'll see Fatality brand stuff. Okay. But he was the best Quake player in the world, and that's really all you got. You could go see that, or you could watch people play League of Legends, which, I'm fucking, or a form of, like, before that it was Dota.
Okay, so Zach, for you, which one do you think is?
I mean, you can't argue esports is totally on the rise right now. Yeah. The question that I have to ask is esports going to stay on this high trajectory? Okay. Do you remember the 90s? Yes. The late 90s when the X Games was enormous.
Oh, no, you're right. I will give you that.
While I think the esports is cool. I watch Overwatch. I've never even played Overwatch. And I watch Overwatch matches.
I think once VR and stuff gets more into it, it's going to be more a simulated.
I hear you.
Is esports in the way they are currently with the insane viewership and the huge prize money?
Can they maintain?
Are they going to maintain? Because when in the late 90s, early 2000s, I thought,
the fucking Mountain Dew circuit is going to be a fucking thing for forever.
Skateboarding and BMX and motocross. While there's still things. Yeah. There's still the X Games. There's still huge.
While I agree with that,
it has fallen off.
While I agree with that, the thing with the X Games and shit like that is you don't have major people who are investing a fuckload of money who already own professional sport teams investing into
And
this.
the esports are literally,
You know what
the
I mean?
Eagles
Like
are buying their own.
X Games and stuff is
Cowboys,
like, yeah, we're getting a
everybody's-
bunch of people together that have money because this is what we love.
Yeah.
But there's no real ownership to it other than the X Games. You know what I mean? Like, it's. But I do
the
agree
only
with
thing
you
with
on
the
that. I
esports
do
is
agree.
it hasn't been hugely popular for long enough.
It's still too early.
To
It really
know
is.
if that
sustainability.
now
yes.
you know when you look at racing, NASCAR, they've been racing NASCAR
They
since
have,
the
yeah.
30s.
Yes.
While it is not as popular as it once was, I feel it will always be.
And that's.
But do you think they have to change though? Do you think that they're going to have to get away from using the fuels and?
Well, I mean, they've changed. They used to look at the cars they used to run versus cars
True.
now.
No, you are
They've
right.
Always,
you are right.
There has always been a progression.
You're right.
And eventually,
Fair.
all racing will be electric cars.
Yeah.
I mean, F1 went from
So
big-ass
eventually,
V12s
all cars will be
to
electric cars.
turbo V6s. You know what I mean? Like, things change.
Sure. No,
Now,
I totally agree on that. Will it still be enjoyable?
Racing, whether it's NASCAR, F1, or MotoGP, or whatever you're into, racing will always be popular. Physical, out there on a track racing, will
there's something
always
I don't know how
be popular.
I don't know if you've ever gotten in your car. I mean, on 4 wheels I'm good. 2 wheels not so much. Like I used to ride motorcycles, but I always had this thing in the back of my head where I'm like, I'm gonna go too fast, do something stupid, and fucking end my life. But in a car, I feel like as long as I know the car, I'm comfortable. I can push that, and I want to push that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like there's something about wanting to go fast and the rush. And
There will always be a rush in going fast. So I think racing
has the sustainability.
Even if it's not called NASCAR anymore.
Yeah.
And they're racing oval tracks in fucking fully electric cars, racing will always be a sport.
I will say this.
Will probably always be a sport as well.
I
will
agree.
Is it a flash in the pan? Like
I don't know.
the way that extreme
time will
sports
tell.
I will
are?
say I've gotten the
I don't
same
know
rush.
yet.
I've gotten the same rush as going fast as playing in games in esports.
Okay.
No,
So,
I
I mean,
haven't. I have
okay.
never.
I know you've never reached that level, but when you are playing and practicing 7 days a week
Yeah.
for like 6 to 11 hours a day, and you get into those matches where it literally comes down to, you know, clicking on pixels, because that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it comes down to that and you pull that out, and you just get that same fucking feeling, that same rush. You know, so I don't know. It's hard to say.
I just don't know if the esports is going to be as popular as it is right now
For
the long haul. It will always be. They're still running fucking X Games stuff. You know what I mean? So esports will always be a
thanks to
thing.
Rob Dyrdek, actually.
From here on out.
I mean, that's really what kept it alive. Is Rob Dyrdek.
Definitely
But
did.
esports from here on out will always be a thing.
Yes.
Now whether that,
especially with the day and age, like I
whether
said,
the
everybody
most
has a
popular
phone.
thing is that right now,
Yeah.
or something comes up in the future that we can't like in the 70s. You can visualize. No one saw that esports could be a thing. So right now,
my dad has even said like the amount of times that I would sit home because I was the only kid on my block playing video games.
Yeah, but
And he's like video games. I'm like, yeah, I was doing it for fun. Like I didn't think anything was gonna fucking come of
what
it.
I'm trying to say is that we can't even fathom what the next
level.
I will say this.
shit will be.
I will say this. There are
Exactly.
two minor. I think what's F3 is the minor of F1. There are 3 teams that have pulled kids that were so good at playing fucking F1 online or Gran Turismo or racing games that they've set them up with teams and got them in cars because they understood how well the games are becoming simulations to a point too.
So they can transfer to actual real world ability.
Yeah, minus actually being in a car and physically there. But once you get them used to that, they understand that. So as training tools, they can also set people up. I mean, iRacing is a big thing. You can go, it's $10 a month. You can go and race with professional racers every week if you want. Because they're using the same thing. I mean, Mark does it. They're using the same thing on specific cars, specific tracks to practice.
But that's racing, and racing will always be popular. Now, you're not, as far as and maybe this will be the new thing, there is no battle royale in real life.
Yes.
The way
I
there's
mean-
Fortnite. But
I mean, some
the
people
way
would
that
love it.
the way that the world is going, we could be like the Hunger Games.
I think
Yeah.
realistically
That
we
could
have
be
a
real,
better.
you
Be
know?
a thing.
I think we have a better chance at Ready Player One happening, minus the wasteland.
Okay, yeah.
But people living in an oasis where you have not I don't want to say a VR headset that you're putting on. It's probably more augmented reality.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to go about our day. You know, like at some point in your life, instead of getting a cell phone, you're going to have to go to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor is going to give you a non-prescription fucking
Implant.
or set up pair of glasses
Yeah.
that you're responsible for.
Yeah.
And instead of having a wallet, it's going to be credit, and you walk up to something, hit a fucking thing, and put your hand out, and you
Yeah.
pay for something.
Well,
'cause it
that's
comes
all.
off
Yeah,
of,
yeah. The technology,
you know what I mean?
as far as that shit goes, is going to
But
expand.
will
however much.
that supersede people in physical
No,
cars
because I think it's going in
action fast? Or
No,
people
because in
playing,
augmented reality.
Well, there's always going to be adrenaline junkies, and
no, because the
adrenaline
augmented
junkies
reality,
can be.
you can implement the both. It's just that it's not an esport, and
Yeah.
it's just racing.
Yeah.
And you just get all your HUDs and your everything right in front
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, eventually, the technology that esports is bringing will also
So
progress
basically, we're
regular
kind of
sport.
I mean,
getting to
racing will
overall-
always be popular.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was probably the first sport.
Sure.
Some caveman said to another caveman,
I bet
"Hey,
I can
racing.
be.
I
into
bet
that
I
tree.
bet I could get to that tree faster
exactly,
than you can."
exactly.
I feel racing will always be
You give me all your meat, motherfucker.
viable.
Yeah. Now, so
Yeah.
I mean, I think overall what we're kind of saying is both of them are. I mean, it's funny to kind of juxtapose them against each other because one is such a
But they're
newfangled
both.
thing,
A lot of
and one
people
is
look
such
at
an
them and say they're
old-fangled
both
thing.
not sports.
Well, and exactly what I love the idea about putting these two next to each
And
other.
you have to figure
is
both
people
race.
don't see them as people that are athletes don't see those
but you have
things
to figure
as
those
athletic
dudes-
endeavors in any
Those
way.
dudes are going to the gym just as much as a regular athlete
Yeah.
is. They are forced to. I mean, within their contract, they have to be healthy. They have to
Yep.
follow a regimen.
Yep.
They have to do it. Same thing as a NASCAR driver. I mean, back in the day, you probably got a dude my size that was jumping in a car and I can fucking drive fast. But
Yeah.
today, they're
It's-
fucking
yeah.
tiny dudes that
Exactly.
are on a regiment and taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, because
So
mentally and physically.
both of these things are going to be here to stay. Both of these things are going to be whether the level at what they're at, either they're going to sustain or they're going to drop off. But they're both going to exist. In pretty much a quick one-word answer, if I told you right now, Justin, I had tickets for the same exact day for two events, a NASCAR and an esports, what are you going with?
Esports.
Esports, Zach. NASCAR, esports, one-day event.
I've never been to an esports event. That's
I've
why.
never been to either.
I
So
mean, I think it depends on what the.
your favorite NASCAR event and your favorite esports event, one versus the other. Is it a hard decision?
I just went to the NASCAR race, so I'd probably say esports.
You say esports, all right. All right,
But
well,
it,
I mean, I think we should
It
get
all
tickets.
depends.
Listen, I think we should get tickets to the
both.
Overwatch Championship.
I think we should try to get to both of them. I was saying next year we should try to get to the infield if we can.
Overwatch
and
Championships
film
is
the fuck out of it. And Overwatch.
October or something.
Hell yeah. I think
In
we should
Philly.
definitely look into
It's
that.
in Philly, yeah.
And definitely go down
$55
and
a
fuck
ticket.
around with people and maybe just see what those people think about NASCAR as well.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, it's been a really fun episode here tonight. And before we go on for 3 hours, I think we should wrap this up here.
We did not get the Comic-Con, but
We did not get to Comic-Con. I knew that was going to happen once we got into the heavy talking. There's a bunch of stuff that's happening out on Comic-Con right now. Edward Furlong is coming back as John Carter or John Connor.
Connor.
Not Carter.
John Carter?
I wish John Carter was
Part
coming
4.
back, but he's not. A bunch of other things are happening in the world of comics, and maybe we'll get to them into the future. But hey, future. So big thank you to Justin Olapedo for, as always, putting everything on and dealing with the technical difficulties this week.
Oh,
Figure
Zach
out what all
actually
that was
jumped up
about.
and got that
Oh, yeah,
back.
Zach.
You know, thank you.
And I guess a big thank you to Mr. Zachary
NASCAR.
Storman. I was hoping that was going to be it. I was really hoping. I didn't know what you were going to say. I was hoping it was going to be NASCAR. And as always, go check out our Brother Sister Love podcast. Let me ask you a question from Moot.tv. Big thank you to Mr. EJ5000 for helping us put everything out every single week. And you can always check us out on our Moot Mondays drop along with Let Me Ask You a Question. And we'll be back next week with part 2 of our 6-part
May I
epic.
just say that plastic is holding those zombies back quite well.
They are. Oh my god, I forgot we had zombies behind us. God, this is terrifying. This whole episode, they've just been sitting there waiting. Oh god, they're gonna get us.
Just don't go through that window.
Don't punch through that window. They're gonna come get us now. All right, before we get attacked and killed, I'm gonna sign off here. So for Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up, I am Kyle Mocha. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. And as always, here is our closing theme song to play us out.
Later.
See ya.
Fuck off.
Bye.
Mood.tv.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink like him, we're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will be weak. We're gonna write a new one every week. Some will